Greetings and welcome to RPGs Uncovered. We are back for the first episode of our demo play miniseries for season 4. We're kicking off Cyberrats, Corpo-Rat Shills today, and I am so super excited. I have been anticipating this game for, probably literally months since I've heard about, Alex, your initial Kickstarter plans in this game. But even after that, once the game dropped, I was super excited. I got to meet all of these fantastic people, set up this game, and had a wonderful session zero that you heard a little bit about last week if you tuned in for our sort of episode 0 for learning the game and a mock session 0. That went really well. If you missed any of that, you can check that out. It should actually still be on VOD here if you want to go back and check that out after this stream. And it is uploaded on YouTube. And the cool thing about YouTube is I can add nice handy chapters so you can skip past the extra long intro, go straight to rules or tools or themes or the session 0 and find pretty much exactly what you're looking for. So go check out the YouTube if you want to see previous episodes, not only of this season, but of next season. Next season, in the future, previous seasons. Next season's episodes aren't up yet. I'm still working on the time dilation aspect of YouTube, but it's complicated. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep this intro much shorter because we have a lot to get through today because we're going to do 2 missions, and I'm sure these guys are all going to push as much roleplay into this as we possibly can get. We're going to take a break sometime in the middle, sometime between the first and second mission we go on, so that'll probably be somewhere around, what would that put us at? Around 6, I believe. We'll see how that lines up, but that is the plan. All right, brief introduction for myself. You're already here. You probably know what we do. You can follow me on Twitter at RPGs Uncovered. The overlay is going to be cycling through all of our character names and our Twitter handles, so you can go follow everybody. And if you scroll down in the About section, you can find all kinds of cool links. You can come hang out with us in Discord. You can follow on Twitter. You can head over to the YouTube I already talked about. And if you are so inclined and capable of doing so, because I know it's a rough time for everybody, you can even head over to our Ko-Fi and help support the show if you'd like. If you like the shows we put on, if you like the goal that RPGs Uncover has, working with indie creators, not only indie game designers, but artists and musicians and whatnot. Anything we get there is going to go straight back into the community by hiring awesome indie and small team designers. That's all I will say about that. You can check out more of that mission statement and all the cool stuff we have on Ko-Fi if you actually click on that. We have character sheets and GM insights, and I'll be throwing up my notes and my maps on there later after the episode. You may also see, if you scroll down, we have a mayhem meter down there, and that is a new feature that I am deploying for this season. Basically, you can see the meter up in the top right over there. Every $50 we get, if you are all so generous, something crazy will happen. So I might blow up an unforeseen bomb, I might drop some new crazy alien or enemy into the fight, I might give everybody rocket launchers and help them out. Who knows? There's only one way to find out, and that's to help support the show. So we'll see if that actually goes anywhere. Any money we get through the Mayhem meter is going to be split 5 ways between all of us when the season is done. So supporting Mayhem is supporting these lovely people because it's always been a key part of RPGs Uncovered to, want to pay our cast. So go help cause some Mayhem. I think that is mostly what I have. New things on the channel. There are channel points now because I know they were specifically asked for last week. So we have channel points. You go and click on little channel point icon down in the lower left of the chat. We have the simple ones like hydrate. There might be a posture check in there, I'm not sure. But we have new ones. You can award action dice to a player that is giving them a d6 they can use on any roll. There is character monologues, so you can make a player, monologue their internal thoughts in the moment. And there is the tactical airdrop, where I will drop a random 1-cost item onto the battlefield that will help the players. And we have new emotes. We not only have the heart tomato that is the staple of our channel, but now we have the tactical blimp. So when our new Cyberrats are deployed on their mission, I want to see some tactical blimp spams. Because I put a lot of work into making that. Yeah. So anytime you hear tactical blimp, hit up the tactical blimps in chat. And for our subscribers, we have our first subscriber emote, and that is Little Baby Maud from our season 2 series for Heroic Chord, and the subsequent one shot we did of, I forget the actual name of the game, but it's based off of Heroic Chord. It's about playing baby dragons. It's fantastic. Okay, that I believe is actually all I have. I'm going to throw it over to all of my my lovely cast members here to tell you briefly who they are and where they can be found and who they're playing. And if you want to hear more specifically about their schedules and all the cool stuff they're doing, stick around until the outro, and we'll go more in depth. But let's pass it over to, starting out, of course, the reason we are all here. Alex Rinehart, creator of Cyberrats. Hello.
Hello. Yes, thank you. I am Alex Rinehart. I am the creator of Cyberrats, and you can find me on Twitter or nope, Nightbot turned off my
I
link.
got it.
Thank you. You can find me on Twitter or any of those places. Yeah, that's me. I made this game.
All right. What two characters are you playing?
Oh yes, I will be playing Freighter Joe, the big, dumb, friendly rat, as well as Nibbles, the absent-minded scientist hacker rat swarm.
All right. Awesome. Let's throw it over to Q now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Who are you? You're muted, first of all.
No, I'm not. I was talking the whole time. It's fine.
It's like reverse ventriloquism.
Right. I'm Q. You can find me at midnight_Inc. That's INQ. On Twitter. And tonight I'm playing Henry Levi Razor, aka Hank. And I'm also playing Pack Rats, the enlightened rat swarm that is, just really happy with their perfectly friendly rivalry with another rat swarm.
All right. Awesome. Let's throw it over to Aaron now. Thank you for joining us. Who are you bringing to this?
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a performer and game designer. You can find me on Twitter and itch at Veil's Edge Games, and I will be playing Esme Vandervon, a rat swarm femme fatale, and Ash McDykel, the resident explosives expert.
Yes, I'm excited to see some explosives. All right, and bringing us to the end of our cast, and after the after show, or during the intro, the first announcement, JD, thank you for joining us. What do you have going on?
So many things, but we will keep it simple. I am JD. I can be found with Live from the Apocalypse and Tales from the Table Studio. But in general, if you want to know my schedule, you can find me pretty much on all social media at JD, not Jason Dean. And today I will be playing Hank's sibling, Hayden, who is perfectly happy with their life and everything in it. And I will also be playing Ian, who is an enlightened rat swarm, destined to be a thief.
All right. Yeah, let's see if Ian can survive long enough to retire into a proper life of crime. All right.
We shall see.
Yes, we shall see. We shall certainly see, especially with the mayhem meter. Okay. One final announcement. I would like to give a shout out to my good friend Zach from Scheduled for Launch, who has provided us with some amazing background music. You may have caught a little bit of it during our opening title screen. We'll have some more during our intermission title screen, and we'll kick off some tunes shortly. And I don't think any of my players have heard this yet, so they are in for a treat. All right. With all of that out of the way, we are going to get started with episode 1 of Corpo-Rat Shills. We fade in to darkness, really, or I should say, it is dark until softly fading in, there is just a little bit of cold blue light shining down from above, and stepping into that light source, you see what looks like the most average human man you've ever seen. About yay or so tall, darkish, lightish skin, brownish, blondish hair, a face that looks like literally everybody else's. This is the most average person you've probably ever seen, until the camera pulls back and you see that they're wearing some sort of tight, maybe future spandex spacesuit sort of thing, with all kinds of hexagon materials and different attachments. And then you notice another arm, partly mechanical, fold out from behind the back. And another one. And another one. And another one. And this figure takes a step forward and looks out a large window. The camera pulls back and moves around him, so we too are looking over his shoulder out to the soft blue glow of the earth far beneath. Stands there and ponders it for a moment. And then there is this hissing, this hydraulic hissing. Everybody knows futuristic space doors. Light clacking of footsteps on the ground. And then this strange, skittering, gaspy voice projecting in what we can only assume is some alien language. And this figure takes two of his many, many hands and rubs the bridge of his nose and looks out. Have we offered them more arms? I really feel like they would stop resisting if we just offered them more arms. Humans want more arms, right? That's what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he sighs, and we hear the faintest chittering of a continued conversation as the camera is pulled down past that large space window, through the atmosphere, through the clouds, and to a, I don't want to say fairly large, but it is a tactical blimp. The camera scrolls down rapidly to a tactical blimp. This is not your average dirigible. It is covered in nanotadium plating. It has a large undercabin with attached rocket boosters to it, some aerodynamic wings, and some bluish, whitish camouflage that is slightly reminiscent of the sky. And we see a soft trail behind it, and we zoom in through the windows. And who do we see? This is going to be our opening intro mission, our first primary mission. So I would like each of you to decide who's going to go on this first primary mission. We're jumping straight into it. Who's riding the tactical blimp?
I mean, it's pretty easy for me. Hank's going first.
All right. So sitting in one of these seats, even though it is a blimp, the inside is more reminiscent of say the Aliens dropship or the Starship Troopers dropship, with these big bulky chairs and the pull down harness to make sure nobody falls out during tactical blimp maneuvers. Sitting in one of these chairs, describe Hank for us.
Hank is a pretty tall rat. You know, covered in metal. Both the cybernetics that have been added, as well as some personal accoutrement. His ears are completely covered in earrings. He's rocking a mohawk. It's currently electric blue.
Nice.
Oh yeah. There's tattoos, and of course, he's got a vest, which is not standard issue, obviously.
Of course.
Probably was not, given to him, probably not allowed, but fuck it. We're
Yeah.
here for a good time.
You
Not a
stashed
long
it somewhere in the tactical blimp to put on after
Uh-huh.
you were deployed. Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's just sitting. He has the harness on, but mostly he's just chilling, waiting. Well, this is gonna be fun, yeah? You excited?
Who else do we have? Who responds?
I mean, I think it has to be Hayden, Hank's sibling. Hayden is of a similar size and build, although they do not have the piercings that their brother has, or the earrings that their brother has, should I say, or the vibrant hair color. In fact, I think Hayden looks fairly neutral given that their body is made of metal, although similarly to their brother, they have snuck on part of an attire that probably is not encouraged, namely like a sequence draped jacket that they are wearing.
Nice.
That is very flashy, definitely catching a lot of the light. And I think they were starting to look a little bit nervous before Hank spoke, but as soon as their brother says that, immediately their shoulders straighten and they're like, yeah, this is going to be a great time. I'm so glad we finally get to go out and do something. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. You got your sword sharpened. Wait, what are you taking with you? I got sword.
I have a gun. Should I have a sword?
No, not necessary. I like swords, gets me up close. But not for everyone.
Yeah, just the gun seemed like the right thing.
Sure,
That's
sure,
what
sure,
you
sure.
use, right?
I mean, it's what you use. It's just
I've actually never fired a gun.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really used the sword, but it seemed like a good time.
It always looks easy in the movies.
Absolutely, see, exactly. It'll be fun. You just kind of swing. It'll hit someone eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I just have to aim and make sure I take the safety off.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly that. Yeah.
Who else is here on this blimp?
Raider Joe is here. Raider Joe is 10 feet tall, all rat. His tail is curled up behind him. And he is struggling. So he too is wearing illegal clothing. But in his case, it is a bright orange safety vest. And we all know that dock workers are not allowed safety equipment. So the fact that he's wearing a hard hat and a safety vest, strictly illegal. And of course, his safety vest has a name tag on it that says, "Hello, my name is Freighter Joe," which he did not write. He asked someone else to write that for him. And right now he has this enormous, it's a mix between a crowbar and a sword. And he's holding that in one hand while trying to figure out how to get this thing buckled over him. And is just really struggling with the straps. Again, his tail is he's sitting on his own tail. It's a mess. I just cannot figure out how to get this thing all tied together.
No, I don't think it's gonna fit like that, mate.
It fit for you.
Yeah, you're like twice my size.
You're a lot bigger.
But this is my seat, so I should
Mm.
fit in it.
Mm. That's the seat you chose. Not necessarily your seat, though.
I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's mine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something
make it
snaps
fit.
and cracks, and I'm in my seat.
We see
You
one
got
of the
it, mate.
hinges up here just completely buckled. There we go. That works.
Yeah, that
Properly
looks safe.
secured.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, who is in our last of these seats on our tactical blimp?
The last person is Esme van der Vaan. Despite being a swarm of rats, she is actually wearing the uniform. She is wearing the proper jumpsuit, but she does have a scarf tied around her head, old Hollywood style, and large sunglasses. And she just looks over at the buckling dropship chair and says, "I see we're stress testing the blimp equipment today. By the way, don't turn the safety off yet, Hayden. If you fire a bullet inside this enclosed blimp with a ball of gas above us."
Are
Right.
you calling us
I don't-
stupid? You think we don't know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
Yes, I am assuming that.
What don't we know?
Not you,
Not-
big guy.
Yeah.
You
You're
know,
fine.
you're great. 10 out of 10. Hey, rat swarm lady. You see that one? Pointing at Hayden. You see that one?
Yes, I do.
You'd be nice. You see, you'd be nice to them, but you and I are gonna have a problem, yeah?
It's okay, Hank. I'm
Fine.
sure she meant well.
I'm opening my nice list, entering Hayden, and closing it again.
Fantastic. I don't need to be on a nice list.
You
I'm not
aren't
nice.
on the nice list.
I know, it's fine. Naughty, it's me, yeah?
So the chatter interns, we're coming up. Commencing Operation Whisker Twitch. We're on approach the ranch now. I'll be dropping you halfway up the drive by the old farmhouse. Recon
Okay.
reports a small team, likely only a few little green men and maybe a gray brain or two. Recon confirms less than half a dozen hostages. Minimal resistance. Expect minimal resistance until you reach the barn. Recon confirms. Half a dozen hostages, not including the horses. They are expendable. You're to drop in, eliminate interloper hostiles, and keep the civilians alive. And tuck your tails in, interns. It's time to drop. And with that, all of your safety harnesses automatically detach. Of course, Freighter Joe's doesn't hydraulically lift up on its own because you broke one of the arm supports. But you are all wearing. Well, you guys tell me. Obviously, this blimp isn't going to land. How are you getting from up here to down there?
I want a squirrel suit.
All
That's
right.
just I want it.
we are going with high altitude squirrel suit drops.
Incredible, yes.
The safety harness detaches. You stand up, grab your gear, throw that on, and the back hatch of the blimp opens up, and you toss yourselves out. And we see the four of you gliding down. The blimp came in fairly low, but a little bit away from what is apparently a horse ranch. Being interns, you really did not know what to expect of this first mission. Your lottery number in the corporate soldier pool came up. You were put through some very, very basic training, given whatever standard equipment that you asked for. Somehow managed to get non-standard equipment stashed away before you were deployed on this first mission of yours. Apparently, Operation Whisker Twitch. So as the four of our newest intern Cyberrats are gliding through the air, we're going to pull the camera back and beat them down to the scene. We pan down to the ground, and the camera winds through this old two-lane road, weaving through the back sort of country roads of central New Jersey. Through hills and forested regions, we pass by very old houses that have probably been there for 200 years or more. We pass by old churches and cemeteries, and not far in betwixt either of those, very brand new ranches. Some much newer, much larger, much more technologically employed than the other. But this is definitely a rural area, and we follow this road winding through until it is covered in midday, not darkness per se, but the dimness of being surrounded by lush forests overhanging above the roadway. And we eventually make our way down what is actually a fairly steep hill until we get to the bottom there, where there is an unmarked horse ranch, a much smaller one. We, of course, see that forested hill move down with us, and it opens up into a long gravel driveway. And we slowly make our way up through that gravel driveway. There is a large field off to the right that leads up into that forested hill. There's a few horses milling around there. To the right, off a little ways, there is another open field with horses, this one flat and sparsely populated with a few large oak trees. And the camera moves up this gravel driveway, which is lined by columns of likewise large oak trees, until we get to very similar to this region, very old farmhouse. It looks like it's seen multiple additions and renovations over the years. It is a haphazard but somehow lovingly maintained mixture of cobblestone and brick and wooden siding. The windows are outside the windows there are little planter boxes. There are walls of ivy snaking their way through the cobblestone and up the side of the house. It's definitely an old house, and you can see the wear and grime of the years on it, but it also looks fairly lovingly maintained, as much as it could be by what you can only assume is a very elderly couple. And as we pull back from this house, we see our four Cyberrats land from their squirrel suits and rip them off Magic Mike style and get ready to commence our mission. In front of you, you can see the gravel driveway goes on 4 ways. You are about 1 move from far range. Far range is going to put you just beyond the farmhouse. You're actually fairly close to far range. Yeah, you are at about far range now, because nobody wants just a opening turn of moving. You are at far range right now. Beyond the farmhouse away, getting into near range, at least to the barn, is a fairly large a fairly large pen, what is probably a training pen. You see a couple of posts with leads that have been set up. There isn't a horse in there right now, but there's various troughs. There is large hay bales set to one side. A large chest, more like a small shed, off to one corner. That is chained and locked. There's a wheelbarrow off to one side. And then just beyond that, you can see the barn. It is this, much like the farmhouse, a fairly old looking barn. At one time, it was probably a bright red, but now it is a dull pinkish sun-worn color in the places where the paint hasn't just entirely chipped off and exposed the wood beneath. But this barn probably holds, at maximum, probably close to 24 stalls of horses, and a small interior office. And you were informed, and that was by Fruit Chew, the pilot of the tactical blimp, that there is about half a dozen hostages that are likely being kept in this barn. In front of the barn, in front of the main entrance, there is a small circular patch of that gravel that denotes the end of the driveway, and off to the opposite side of the drive, there is a small sort of half-fence garden that looks fairly well maintained. The only thing that would disturb this very rustic, rural, picturesque landscape is a smoking hole blown out the backside of this barn. And you can see, as you land, you see this little green head pop itself up from that hole. And this is where our mission will begin. So, because this is a demo play, let's pause for a moment here and just explain a little bit of what we are actually seeing right now. As far as game terms, we are deploying into our first primary mission. Each time the group goes through a cycle of this gameplay loop, normally they would start with a mission briefing. They're completely expendable interns. They don't need to know what's coming ahead. They are just supposed to drop. If they live and succeed, congratulations, you are promoted to a proper career. If not, we got plenty more back in the lab. But a primary mission is the mission that the players actually play through in the entirety. They have their characters, they roll for various checks and actions they do throughout this, and there is back and forth combat and interaction with the map. During this time, there is actually a secondary mission ongoing, and we will see what that secondary mission is and how it is resolved after this first primary mission. But we are dropping into the, of course, combat phase of this mission. Unlike some games, Cyberrats, you can give your players a little bit of, let's say, pre-combat stuff to do, interacting with the environment, scouting out ahead. But the way Lumen breaks it down and the way Cyberrats breaks it down is that everything is basically a move, everything is more or less confined to some sort of action, and it is the action economy of using your various powers, interacting with the environment, and obviously firing upon the enemies that makes up the tactical combat side of Cyberrats, and we will get into that right now. So, Cyberrats. We start with the player phase. Each of you will be able to take your turn in whatever order that you would like. You are granted 2 actions. With those actions, you can either move, shoot or reload, or use or interact with the environment in some sort of skill check sort of way. But you can also use as many powers as you would like, as long as you have biotech to be able to fuel them. And you can use any items you have, though items are 1 use per mission. So I will throw it over to you guys. How are we kicking off this mission?
Trader Joe will. I'm gonna grab Hank, just slap you on the shoulder.
Mhm.
Come on, let's go. And I'm going to use just like 3V, which lets me move myself and one ally one range band. So
Okay.
can I get to the barn with this, or was that 2 moves away?
That is, the barn itself is 2 moves away. That would allow you to get up to the distal end of that training pen.
I'm gonna do it again. Oh, go ahead, Q.
Then I would like to do it. I was gonna do it. I was gonna do it too. So this is fine. So you're like, let's go. And I'm like, all right. And I start going faster than you.
Doing it again. So we are both at the barn. What do I see?
Okay, you both are at the barn. You sprint past the farmhouse, past the training pen. There is a short drive between the training pen and the barn, and you can see on this side of the barn there looks like there are a number of large doors, double stack doors, so you can either open the top as windows or open the whole barn doors that would lead into the stables. They're not cells. These are not prisoner horses. These stables, you can open those up. They are all currently closed, but they are there. It looks like there's about 8 or so of them that stretch the length of this barn. It's about probably about like roughly 2 stories high, as barns tend to be, and there is probably about 45-ish degree slope to the actual peak of the roof. From where you are here, as you approached, you lost sight of the hole in the back corner of the barn. But as you were approaching, that little green head definitely peeked back down and disappeared. You are pretty much standing right at the corner between the pen and the barn. There is that gravel circular patch off to your right, a garden beyond that, and right in front of you, past the corner of the barn, is the main barn entrance.
Yeah, I want to go into the barn. I'm looking for that green guy.
All right. You move up to the large barn doors and look inside. It is dark in here because it's a barn. It's dark in here. It smells bad. It smells of unkempt horse pens. Probably not tended to for at least a day or so, but it does not take long for those to get a little rank. You can hear the sound of movement further in. You can hear some whinnying and stomping of some horses within. There is a large pile of hay bales stacked up in front of the interior stables, and it splits off into 2 lanes, I suppose. So you have stables off to one side, a path, stables in the center, the path, and stables off to one side. Up here, you can see as you approach, you see 2 little green men, one to one side of the path, one to the other, who are actually, as you were approaching, you could hear them shouting back and forth to each other, probably bickering in their strange alien language, and they both towards you, and they take their weapon, which in fact is a is this little ray gun like thing. It has a very old school pulp sci-fi ray gun look to it. It's bulbous, it has these rings and large bulbular end to it, and they take it, it starts glowing green, and they both point it in your direction.
Yeah, I'm going in with my sword. I wanna take the one on the left. Smash him.
Okay. So
Can I go?
we will get to
For sure.
Q in just a second. We started at far range. You used a power that lets you get to near range, and Q used another power that got you into close range. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, so I only used one of mine?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe you used one power. I believe you both have the same power, which is what,
We do.
3V?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like on 3V.
Just like
yeah.
on 3V. So you used one of your powers, which I believe requires one biotech for you to use each.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
both of you can take one off of your biotech, and that gives each of you enough movement to close into an enemy in close range. So, well, left or right, Alex? Which do you want?
I'll take the left.
All right.
I rolled my smash and got a 6.
Okay,
let's see.
so we are rolling our first check of the game. So in Cyberrats, we roll a pool of d6s equal to the attribute value of whatever attribute they are rolling. You chose Smash. You chose Smash. You had 3 dice in that. There are ways that you can add to that. There are down-type dice. There are audience dice if anyone wants to give any players an audience dice. And a few different pieces of equipment that can help stack that. And of course, other players can assist if there is coordinated effort that they would like to undertake. But you rolled your 3 dice. I can open up the chat log here and show that you indeed got a 6. When resolving a check, a 5 and a 6 is a complete success. It goes off without any problems, whatever the check is, whether it's an attack, whether it's jumping over something, whether it's climbing something, whatever it may be, hacking, unlocking door, whatever, it works without a problem. 3 and 4 means that it succeeds, but there's a complication. There is both a complication defined by the attribute used and a complication that I get to throw out. And of course, a 1 and a 2 means that things went badly. You don't do what you wanted to do, and there's further complications. We'll see how much we see of that later. But this is a complete success. You smash with your sword. What does that look like? What does that do? What are you doing?
Well, so I'm trying to just cleave this guy in half. I do 4 harm to this guy, ignoring soak and adding bleed.
Nice.
And I'm just trying to cleave him right here.
All right. So we are looking at Little Green Men, and because this is a demo play, I'd like to be transparent about what effort this will all take. I'm relying on my players not to get too metagamey here, but I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into how you run it from a GM standpoint, at least the first time it comes up. So we have Little Green Men. They are your typical alien little green men. They're short guys, big heads, green skin, ray guns. There you go. They have 2 HP plus 1 for each threat level. There is, I believe, interlopers start at threat level. They don't start at any threat level. They start at victory. They have an increased victory meter. So they have 2 HP at the moment. And they do not have really any sort of defenses. They have no soak, no shard, no barrier. So I will hold off on explaining any of that until somebody actually gets hurt. So you deal 4 damage against their 2, and you do successfully cleave this little green man in half.
Okay, that was just my first action, I believe. So
yes, because you used a power to move.
Yeah, with apologies to Hank, going for the right one.
All right.
I got a 5.
Okay.
So same result.
Yes. I was just thinking about how ranges and distances work in this game. again, they are abstracted into general range bands instead of relying on a battle grid, having to mark it out, every 5 feet or 3 meters or whatever it may be. So as long as each player has enough actions or powers to move into that general band, they are going to get to act within it. So I don't think it really matters that one was off to the right and one was off to the left. You are able to move within that close range. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. So you have the action to be able to attack again, and you do so. Yeah, you quickly juke down to one side of the barn, cleave one of them in half, sprint over to the other side, and cleave the other in half. A 5 is a full success once again. No complications whatsoever. Both of these little green men cut in half. One horizontally, one vertically, one horizontally, as they lay there in 4 pieces, bleeding out this gooey, green, slightly glowing blood.
Oh yeah, that's gross. Nice. My turn.
Yes.
Yours.
So that was a power from Freighter Joe and 2 actions. Q, you have Hank, who has obviously used a power yourself. So let's describe this a little more, because you are free to proceed into the barn even further now that the sentries have been taken out.
Sweet.
Inside, well, let me ask. Do you go right or left?
Probably right.
You go right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You juke to the right and look down. There again is probably about 8 stalls within this barn, and immediately off to your right, you notice that there is not a stable door, but looks like a regular door. Inside is probably either a storage shed or some type of office, break room, whatever it may be. But that door is closed, and yeah, you can hear what sounds like aliens attempting to hush people.
Through that door?
Yes.
Cool. I want that
Further
door.
further down, though, you do see that there is another 2 of these little green men, and up on top of the stables, the central stables, there is a landing up there where various gear and hay barrels are held, and you see peeking out just above one of those hay barrels is not a little green man, but a much taller, lither, spindly gray alien with a translucent skull showing off a large brain inside. So you have 3 hostiles down the length of this barn alley, or there's the doorway further immediately off to your right, where there are probably people, and probably at least 1 or more aliens, interlopers.
So to Freighter Joe, do we have comms?
Sure.
Okay.
I like that.
Cool. Awesome. So, gray brain up on the landing. We got 2 forward. I'm gonna go say hi to the folks in here. Just smash. Just
Okay.
Tell them I say
smash
hi
through that
too.
door. You all right?
Okay, so you are attempting to smash through this door. And it's a good thing you are doing so, because this door is, once you get to it, the force you have to throw yourself onto it clearly denotes that it is locked and probably barricaded. So I would like you to use one of your actions to get through this door. I'm assuming, being Hank, you are choosing smash.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, in Cyberrats, the players get to decide how they would like to approach solving a problem, with either Smash, Sly, or Cyber. There's no specific skills. There's no specific denotation of what each individual attribute does, and they are not your sort of innate physical or mental characteristics. It represents how, what sort of action, what sort of means a player or character is using to get the intended result. In this case, Hank is just gonna, shoulder charge, Spartan kick? How are you smashing through this door?
I'm
Attempting
really
to.
thinking it's like the Juggernaut headbutt.
All right, love it,
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, I imagine you throw a hand through your electric blue mohawk and just get up the door.
Yep, just add a little bit. I mean, it's gelled up, so I've
Yeah.
got a little extra protection there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see
All
how we
right.
do.
Roll me a smash.
Oof. That was a
Okay,
3.
that is
Oh.
a 3. That is still a success, but
Yeah.
with a consequence. So let's take a
Sure.
look at our consequences. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where it differs a little bit from other games that have succeed with a consequence, because there are indeed 2 consequences. One is listed right here on the little display. You can see, because you got a consequence with a smash action, you automatically lose 1 HP. It hurts your head smashing it straight into this barn door. But
Ouch.
you do burst through the other side and are able to... The door doesn't really open as much as you just go through it. It is an old wooden door.
Great.
So that works. There is another conditional consequence that the GM gets to enact in this situation. So let's see, a consequence for headbutting a door. I am going to say, I like this. The door was barricaded by a wheelbarrow with like a bunch of saddles and bags of feed and different cans of oil in there, just to keep the door from opening. And when you smash through and clamber through the wreckage of this door, it knocks the wheelbarrow over, and all of that crap falls onto a little old man, and he is currently pinned underneath. He's probably more or less fine. He's probably going to be bruised, but he is currently covered in all kinds of stuff and pinned there. Being an old man, you're probably going to have to take extra time to help him up and secure him. But that is not your immediate concern. Your immediate concern is another one of these tall, gray, brainy aliens inside.
Good. Very good.
It looks over towards you. It doesn't have a mouth. It doesn't move as if it is gasping, but its eyes go wide. Its wide eyes, already wide, get even wider, and you feel this sort of vibration between your head that you probably assume is the psychic equivalent of a gasp. And
Hello, ugly.
it has this sort of forearm, underarm, like plasma cannon device that swings over in your direction, but you still have an action.
I sure do. I'm also going to use another one of my powers.
All right.
Scan flaws.
Scan flaws. That will cost you yet another biotech, so be sure to mark that off.
Yes, sir.
What does that do?
So all of my attacks until the end of the round gain the bleed tag and an additional harm.
Okay.
So I also have a sword. So the plan is to go through the, plasma gun up into the head. Like we're trying to go
All right.
1 and 2 and.
Yeah, you're
Straight
doing uppercut slash straight through the arm into the brain. All right.
Yep.
Roll me another check. I'm assuming it's going to be smash again.
It is absolutely smash. However, my sword is precise,
All right.
so I'm actually rolling with another die,
Nice.
which means I have. There we go, baby. That's the 6.
All right. A 6 is a full success. There are no further complications. This gray brain, just like the little green men, does have some soak.
Sure, but I have a sword.
You have a sword that does how much damage?
Okay. So It does 5. And since I took the brutal tag, it doubles when I roll a 6. So that'd be 10.
Okay. 10 damage plus bleed. So,
Yes.
this Gray Brain
2 bleed.
has 1 HP, and actually doesn't have any soak because there is no threat level yet. It has soak
okay.
equal to threat level. So, with 10 damage going up against the 1 HP of this psychically powerful but extremely frail looking Gray Brain, how do you completely destroy this thing?
Yeah, so it's through the arm holding the plasma gun. I might want that for a nice little toy. And then we are just cutting like from one of the wide eyes up and through the brain, so we have a nice little cross section, and that half just goes and
All
flies
right.
off into
Yes,
nothingness.
the upper brain basket of this gray alien flies off and squelches up against the wooden wall of this interior storage shed, and just in this slimy gray trail slides down the wall. And you can see a little old lady there now hunched over her toppled husband that gasps and lets out a scream in this clear sign of
It's
aggression,
fine.
fortunately, helpfully.
Yeah, hey, it's fine. We're the good guys. Here to help. I'm gonna get your old man up in just a moment, I swear. Just want to make sure there's no more aliens about. And he's gonna keep moving.
Right, dear rat. You're one of those. The
Hank,
other
you can call
two
me
of
Hank.
you, what are you doing?
No, don't split up. We should stick together. All right, let's make sure they don't either die or have all the fun without us.
Yeah, they got there really fast.
I think Esme's just gonna start walking toward, like that's her 2 moves, is getting closer to the thing.
Okay. I will say,
mean, is there anyone, if I move 2 ranges closer, would there be anyone in near near or close range of that?
so what I will say is you can use one of your moves to get up to the pen, and actually, instead of following the driveway forward, you can follow the pen further to your right, and that would give you a much clearer view on the blown out hole in the back of the barn if you wanted to go over there where you previously saw at least one little gray man. That would be one move to get there, and then you would have another action to be able to do something else. But that would be the only way of looking into the barn, and you don't see any other hostiles that far out. So you could either use one move to get over there, or you could use 2 of your actions, 2 moves to get all the way into the barn.
I'll get over to have a view on the hole then.
Okay.
What's can I see, so I can see that green, the little green man from in there?
Yes. You see not only you see. Yeah, you see 2 little green men, actually. You see the one that is, you just see the top of his head as he's sort of peeking out above the hole, and you see another one just behind, standing up on a hay barrel, that is wearing this old, like, paperboy cap that was probably taken from the old man. It doesn't fit very well because they have big green heads, but it's sort of haphazardly sat on top of this little green man's big green head, as it is standing on top of this hay barrel and sort of like shouting and pointing down in an alien language at the other little green man cowering.
All right. Well, if she can see 2 of them, she is going to use, Esme is going to use her ability Split, which allows her to take an extra action. So that
All right.
costs 2 biotech.
2 out of your 3 starting biotech to use Split. Awesome.
And then she is going to try to shoot both of them.
Okay.
Just carefully line up and
Okay. Yes, you have a handgun which does operate in near range, which is where you currently are. So how are you going about shooting? What attribute would you like to use for this?
I think cyber.
Cyber. Okay. Cyber is generally your ability to interact with technology and manipulate things through the use of intelligence and understanding. So I think instead of doing like a Malcolm Reynolds and just shooting from the hip, which would probably be more sly, or using a large weapon like a rocket launcher or a machine gun and just collateral damage of a smash roll, you're instead using cyber. So I assume this handgun is probably a fairly sophisticated handgun that you actually take the time to adjust the sights, get a good
It
bead.
actually does have the tech tag.
Yes.
Nice.
So this handgun, it has the lethal and the tech tag. What do each of those do?
So lethal ignores let's see, it ignores barrier and resilient.
All right.
Not soak, but barrier and resilient.
Gotcha. Resilience is another tag that an enemy can have. And of course, barrier is the innate quality of the armor that you're using.
And tech, if I kill him, I recharge biotech for it.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Sweet.
So make your cyber roll.
All right. Oh. Sorry,
The dice next to the handgun actually shows the handgun's qualities. You have to roll the dice next to the attribute.
There we go.
All right. A 4 is a partial success, and a 6 is a full success. Getting both shots out of the way. So you fire twice in rapid succession. Pew, pew. And one of them, the first one, doesn't. There's a spark to it, and I'm assuming because this is a high-tech biotech recharging weapon, it probably actually has like a battery and a reservoir onto it that hooks into some sort of cyberware piece somewhere on your body that allows you to regenerate biotech.
There's always just one of my rats is clinging to the back of it.
Love it.
Just like as a part of the gun.
Just getting ready to drink up that biotech and spread it to the rest of the swarm. All right. So instead, this one little rat hunched over the back of this weapon, because you got a complication with that 4, you actually lose 1 biotech. So the gun it doesn't jam, it fires, but it sort of draws it kind of sucks that rat dry, really, of its biotech, and you just get this little. It's still alive, but it looks like it hasn't been fed in a while, and kind of and scurries back into your battle dress. And another little rat has to take its place because that one's not feeling too well. So you lose 1 biotech, and I will say, because there is another conditional complication, you do obviously hit the little green man, and I believe because this is your intro mission, this is as easy as aliens get. What how much damage does that do? 2 harm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is enough to take out that little green man. I will say
regain that biotech.
Yes, you do. Awesome. And the other shot connects without a complication at all, which I believe also regenerates a biotech. Very nice. So you spent all 3, but you generate 2, which is fantastic. You got a little regen battery system going on there. So you place 2 well-placed bullets in both of these big green heads. Unfortunately, the one up top that was shouting orders down from a little hay barrel actually topples back along with the hay barrel, and you can hear it sort of thud and break apart, and then you hear the whinny of a disgruntled, afraid horse inside, which I'm not going to attempt to do. And there is this large whoosh and the breaking of wood as you hear the clang of metal against wood, and you see a galloping horse actually run out of the backside of the barn, rear up, look around in confusion, and then run back inside of the barn. And we'll see what mayhem that causes for the people inside when we get there.
Well, I'm sure that won't have any fallout later.
Okay, I believe that only leaves Hayden.
It does. All right. I have some ideas percolating, some unhinged thoughts coming. So the first thing I just want to ask is just to confirm, no horses out in the field.
There are a few horses off to the field to the right, sort of milling at the base of that hill, but that's probably, I mean, it would. They are at far range of where you are at far range to the bar, so they're a ways out.
Okay.
To the left, the left side field, you don't see any horses there.
Okay. So I think similarly to Esme, most of what Hayden does is going to be moving up to get closer. Probably by the place where they can see into the entrance. I do just want to ask Jack, because I'm assuming me and Esme kind of moved together. When that horse ran out, is there any possibility I could use an action to try and make it my friend?
Esme had to use an action to move up into near range, and that horse ran out of the barn, which is at far range from where you started. Let's see. How would I want to do this? I will say you can attempt something like that from this distance, but you're going to be rolling with 1 less die.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. So how are you trying to calm this horse?
Like I've seen in every movie, I'm just gonna put my hands up and say, "Whoa there! It's okay, girl. It's okay.
Okay.
We mean you no harm."
From about 50, 60 feet away. What attribute are you using for that?
I think I was considering that.
Sounds like sly to me.
That was what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hayden has a sly score of only 1. And at this range, I'm giving a -1 dice penalty to this roll, which means a sly score of 0, which means you actually roll 2 dice and you have to take the lower amount.
Cool. All right. Can I just type that in, or is there a button that would do that?
I think you have to manually type. Alex, you made these
That
sheets.
was what I thought.
The easiest way to do it would be to temporarily change your score to 0.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Okay.
Then you keep all of the nice formatting and things.
Awesome.
Oh, that is fascinating. Okay, so let's see what happens. So that says it is a 4.
But it looks like
Yep,
you
gotta roll 2.
only rolled 1 dice. So even with it at 0, Alex, it doesn't look like it's rolling
Oh.
2 dice.
Click somewhere else, change it to 0, click somewhere else, then click the button. That's a roll 20 problem.
Gotcha.
Okay, interesting.
Oh no.
Okay. I was going to
This
give you the
is going
benefit of the
worse.
doubt and take the 4 and the first number you rolled, but they're both 1s and you have to take the lowest.
Oof.
It's fine. It's
So-
fine.
We got our first complete failure of the game, which is always fun. That means obviously the action does not succeed, and they take complications. So the attribute complication for Sly, right there, you gain either the painted or taunted tag. I am going to say that with that, I think it makes more sense that you take the I think it's the taunted tag, which means that enemies are going to be more likely to target you. Full disclosure for the audience out there, and to show that every GM, even GMs who do this for a living, have complications come up. I was planning on printing out all of these cheat sheets and reference documents and whatnot. Unfortunately, my printer ran out of ink this morning, so I didn't get to do so. So I will be referencing the book, as you likely will have to do, because there are a number of tags that you have to be aware of. But just like in other games, just like in the Dragon game, in the back there's an easy reference to all of those conditions that you will eventually memorize over time. So that will be, I believe, that is down on page 27. Page 27. There is either the painted tag. Am I looking in the right place? Those are attacks. It is actually page 28. The painted tag. A painted target is marked for death. They take +1 harm from all attacks. The painted condition can be applied multiple times and thus stack. Or there is the other one was taunted. A taunted creature can only attack. The taunted creature can only attack the creature that taunted it. A new taunt overrides an old taunt. Taunted ends when the taunter dies or when the mission ends. So I don't think the horse is really going to attack you. I'm not going to make the horse an enemy, so I don't think taunting the horse to attack you is going to... You know what?
Oh,
Yeah, I will. I'll make up
Oh,
stats
no.
on the fly. Sure. I'm that kind of DM. You
no.
yell this out to the horse. And you can see, you actually yell this out to the horse right in its mid-rearing up. That grand stallion pose, backlit by the setting sun. And it clumps down to the ground and takes a few steps towards the barn, stops, and looks over at you. And you can see this is a big, solid black horse. This is probably one of the few stallions at this barn. And it clomps, stomps its back right hoof 2 times, turns in your direction. Tactical horse. Yeah. Okay.
We've made choices. We've made
We have
decisions
made
here.
choices.
Yep.
I think even in this moment, Hayden's still like, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
it's fine.
totally fine.
That's the horses. That's the sound horses make when they want to come give you a hug.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you used 1 action to move up into near range and another action to try to unsuccessfully calm down this horse. Horses are annoyingly delicate animals. They are, especially stallions, especially unsnipped male horses are. They're oh boy. Okay. Now,
Well.
with all of the players' actions taken, we head into the enemy phase. And our proper mission music provided by Zach from Scheduled for Launch. Let me know, audience, if the background music needs to go up or down. the enemy phase. With the enemy phase, I'm gonna open up yet another. Actually, I think I can just open up the cheat sheets. There we go. The enemy phase, we are going to start by applying bleed. I don't believe there are any enemies left alive. I'm going to turn this down just a tad. There we go. Of course, audience, let me know if that needs to go up. I don't believe there are any enemies left alive for ongoing conditions to be a problem, because they're all dead. So we bypass that, and now we trigger reactions. So, actually, when we resolved that one for Hayden, we only did the attribute complication of painted or taunted. I gave you the taunted condition.
Oh no!
And the
Unfortunate.
The conditional consequence, I can actually activate an enemy on your turn in reaction to you failing that roll as part of that consequence. So the horse doesn't just stand there and stomp. It takes a few steps forward, stomps, rears up a little bit, and charges in your direction. Enemies will get... each enemy can move a range band and either inflict damage or use one of their moves. So this horse is going to, in reaction to the failure there, is going to move into close range with you as it charges in your direction, and is really just gonna try to trample past you. And in Cyberrats, enemies don't have to roll. I don't have to roll anything. I activate an enemy, it does damage to you. So I have been barreled over by a large horse before. It hurts. But I'm going to keep this more or less in the same vein as any of the other interloper enemies. So let's see. I'm gonna say that this just yeah, this is just gonna do 1 harm to you.
Cool.
But it barrels towards you, and you have to actually like throw yourself out of the way because you're still under the impression that this probably worked. It's just moving very quickly for that hug. But it doesn't slow down, and the hug is kind of painful, and it throws you off to one side, and it actually one of the back legs actually kicks you in the knee as it runs past, and ooh, it hurts. Your leg buckles. Fortunately, because you are a cyborg rat, it doesn't completely shatter your kneecap, but your knee definitely buckles. You go down on that knee, and you take 1 harm.
Esme, I miscalculated.
Stop messing with that horse. It's not an alien. They all look like that.
So, now we actually get to the enemy phase proper. As I said, no need for applying bleed. We are on step 2, triggering the actions of the enemy. On the enemy phase, I pick a number of enemies equal to the number of operatives. We have 4 Cyberrats with us, plus 1, and I can activate up to, in this case, 5 enemies to attack all of these guys. They've done a pretty good job of taking out all the enemies that have been presented to them, but enemies also get to move, and this is a pretty large barn. So we know that there are 2 little green men and a gray brain down the path that Hank juked out of into the office. So I'm going to activate all 3 of those. Freighter Joe is off to the left path, and he'll probably have some aliens of his own to deal with, some interlopers. And the other 2 are outside. So I'm going to say that the gray brain and one of the little green men is going to run out the back of the barn and actually get a bead on the 2 outside, Esme and Hayden. The other little green man inside is going to rush forward up to the doorway to the office and try to deal with Hank. And then off to the other side, there is an additional 3 little green men. But I only have 2 more enemies that I can activate. I'm going to activate 2 of those, and one of them is just going to stand there screaming alien obscenities in your direction, Freighter Joe. So, let's start with a little green man on Hayden. So, when we get to the enemy phase, they can move, and they can use either an attack or one of their moves. Each enemy has a stat block that includes 3 moves, which are really just prompts. They're just descriptors. They don't have any built-in rules as to what each of those prompts, each of those moves do. For little green men, there is give orders, duck into cover, or track a target. So I think what I'm going to do is one of the little green men there, they're both going to see Hayden sort of toppled over on the ground, sort of rolling and clutching his knee. And one of them, you see one of them runs out first, and then another one runs out holding the gray flat cap that the other one had, and quickly throws it on top of his head and starts barking alien orders at the other little green man and pointing in your direction, Hayden. And I'm going to say that the move give orders, actually this might either be track a target or give orders. I'm going to say this is give orders, and it is ordering the other little green man to shoot you in the ouch spot. It is applying the painted tag to you. So the other little green man is going to make an attack at you, and he actually does +1 harm because you are painted.
Twice, right?
The horse was taunted.
Oh, taunted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So, Hayden, you are painted. Which ouch spot? The knee. The knee is his current biggest ouch spot. So the other little green man, he has this little pulp sci-fi laser pistol, and he points it in your direction. You see this big, toothy, goblin-like smile pop up, and then is going to shoot in your direction, and you take 2 damage from this laser pistol.
Cool.
Do you have any armor?
I do have armor. That
Alright.
is
So
important
much.
for me to remember.
Yes.
Thank you
so
for
much.
Yes.
reminding. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
reminding me of that.
Could you just keep going?
Yes.
Like, no. You
Okay.
have things.
I'm just like, yep. This is my life flashing before
Yep.
my eyes. It's fine. But yes, I do have armor with a barrier of 5 and a soak of 1.
All right, so
Okay.
we see this little green man, goblin-esque smile, point his laser pistol in your direction, and we follow this little orange bolt. Time slows down, and just before it hits, we're going to pause and explain how damage is applied. So, the little green man is shooting out 2 damage, 2 harm worth of damage to Hayden. It also has the keen property. Before attacking, operatives must remove a number of dice from their pool.
If we attack it,
If you attack it. Okay. I will keep that in mind going forward. I'm brand new to this game too, so there you go. Every GM is going to forget something every now and then. But I don't think that would really have affected much of anything. You guys rolled pretty well, and there's still plenty of other little green men for you to worry about. I really hate that silencing a phone doesn't turn off the alarm for some reason. Okay, so 2 damage is heading in your direction. You have 1 soak and 5 barrier. And to be specific, and we'll get into a further breakdown when we finally see all 3 of the different layers of defenses, when an attack comes in to a player, they have soak, shard, barrier, and then finally their HP. Damage first applies to soak, which soaks up part of that damage. You have a soak of 1. Soak actually does not decrement as you take damage. It completely stays. So any attack going towards you is automatically going to be reduced by 1 harm. So it has 2 damage going towards you. It soaks up 1 damage. It would then go to Shard. You don't have any Shard, so I will explain that later when we get to Shard. And then it will go and apply to the barrier of your armor, and that is the innate durability of the armor itself. That can decrement. So you have 5 barrier. It does 1 damage to the structural integrity of your armor, reducing your barrier to 4. And I've marked that for you there on your sheet. So none of that damage actually goes through any of your armor to the HP yourself. The laser hits your... what sort of armor are you wearing? It's durable armor, but describe to us what that looks like.
Yeah, so I think the armor is more along the side of like the cybernetic enhancements that Hayden does have. And it is a coating... I think the armor that gets chipped away is more on the metal side, but I think what allows for the soak is more technology based. Like it is ever moving, it lights up when it's hit, and it basically just reflects that damage off.
All right. Yeah, there's this shimmering sort of field to it, and that orange bolt hits it and dissipates in this light green refraction effect, and none of that harm is taken to you. That was those 2 there. There was... Yeah. Okay. There is another little green man that is... No, I believe it was the gray. I'm going to make it the gray at this point. The gray is going down to Hank in the office. So let's take a look at the gray brains. Let's see. Oh, I like that. The gray is going to move up. It has to move up into close range with you. Well, actually, you were... Inside the barn is all entirely close range. Right? Alex, you break this down for me. Anything within the barn is technically within that close range bracket, so it doesn't need to spend an action to move into close range. It's kind of already there. It can move freely within that band.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so it doesn't need to spend a move. The difference between enemies and players is that enemies don't have 2 actions that can be used. However, they get to move and then either attack or use a move. So even though it doesn't have to use its move action, it doesn't get another action because of that. So it is going to quickly run up to the smashed up door and look inside. And I'm going to say that instead of making an attack, because gray brains aren't super powerful creatures, it is instead going to use the move Daze an Enemy. So it runs up to the doorway and peeks its head in. And actually, you know what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking gray brains? Very similar to those aliens in that episode of Doctor Who, the Silence, where they don't have a mouth, and they're just these big bulbous gray faces, and it leans in and it stretches its chin, but there's no mouth, so it just kind of stretches the skin open, and you hear this sort of hissing vibration in your head that grows and grows until your vision goes blurry. And I will say Daze an Enemy. Daze, there's not actually a tag or a condition for Daze. I get to decide what it does. I will say, because this is the first mission you are going on, and these are the lowest 0 threat level interlopers you are facing, I'm going to say that Daze is just going to take one of your actions from you on your following turn. So instead of having 2 actions, you only have 1 on the upcoming turn now.
Got it.
But it stares there, psychically screaming into your head. Then I have... Those were 3 enemies. I have 2 left. 2 of the little green men are going to take shots on Freighter Joe now. And I think these two, because they don't have the tactical experience of a gray paperboy hat, they're just going to open up and fire, just start firing in your direction. So I'm just going to have both of those do harm to you, and that is, yeah. So maybe I'm remembering this incorrectly, and I should look this up because I see that they do harm equal to their threat level.
Yes. So threat level starts at 1.
Starts at 1. Okay.
I was like, should I correct this or wait till the break?
Yes. No. Please correct me if I'm forgetting something. Every GM is going to forget something. But I don't think any of that really changes much of anything that we've done thus far, because either we've killed enemies way more HP than they would have, or damage has been soaked up entirely using the bare minimum. So that doesn't actually change anything we've done so far. We are at threat level 1. There we go. So that is 2 instances of 1 harm going in your direction, Freighter Joe. So what is your armor?
2 soak, so I just shrug it off.
2 soak. It doesn't even get through the soak of the armor. That's 1 harm worth of damage. Soaked up. Soak does not decrement. You still have 2 soak. Another laser is fired in your direction for 1 harm. It is completely soaked off. No harm to you. All right. That's what I get for trying to attack the creator of the game, right? Okay. That is the enemy's attack phase. Now, during the enemy phase, after they attack, the GM gets to change something. That is the entirety of the prompt there. I get to enact some sort of change to this scene. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to say the change I'm going to make here. We see actually the 2 little green men that moved a little bit forward and started attacking Freighter Joe were actually there to guard another set of hostages. There was a few other people off in another stall there, and we see one of them, probably a late teenage young woman, dash out from that pen into another, and there's this quick succession of metal clanging against wood and the whinnying of a horse. See, I did it. There you go, Taylor. As a horse comes charging out and runs out the back of the barn.
Don't try and horse whisper this one. Leave that one alone.
And now the last thing we do on the enemy phase is remove conditions and check for enemy drops. So we had quite a few enemies that have died at this point. I believe we had the 2 little green men that Freighter Joe took out. We had the 2 little green men that Esme took out. And the gray brain that Hank took out. I believe that is all the enemies. So that is 5 interloper enemies. There is a chart towards the back of the book or on the enemy phase cheat sheet, and this is one of the few times I actually get to roll as a GM.
You have a cheat sheet in roll 20.
Oh, do I?
On the, not the player, but on the campaign sheet.
I will let you talk me through this during the break,
Sure.
because I actually have it opened up in the PDF right now.
Go ahead.
So there's a chart. I roll a d6 for each one of these aliens, and that is going to drop items that the players can distribute amongst themselves. So we have a 4, which is an HP drop. There is a 2, which is a biotech replenish. There is a 5, which is another HP drop. There is a 1, which is another biotech drop. And finally, there is a 3, which is yet another biotech drop. Which is probably pretty good because we've seen some good uses of powers. So, there is 3 bio drops and 2 HP drops that can be distributed amongst yourselves. In order to use an HP drop, you do have to spend a cyber check, I believe.
Only if
they're
the
down?
person is injured. Yep.
Gotcha. Only if they're down. Gotcha. None of you are down, so I believe the only one injured currently is no one. Nobody's injured because the harm, all the harm was soaked up or hit barrier. So those HP drops, they can't be banked. They have to be used during that phase. They are lost, but there are 3 bio replenishers that have been dropped. How are we distributing those amongst the group?
I'll take one.
I'll take one. There we go. That's
Okay,
3.
there you go. That has been distributed. That is the end of the enemy phase. Now we rinse and repeat until the mission is over. Generally, I will say, except for larger missions, you probably want to keep this to 1 or like 2 or 3 passes tops. So we're going to see if we can take out the rest of these interlopers during this player phase and then get us off to break, because 6 o'clock came a lot quicker than I expected it to, because it always does. So we are back to player phase. Who would like to go?
Joe, you opened it up. Would you like to keep that going?
Sure.
All right.
Sweet.
Yeah, 2 little green men down this path.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. How far away am I?
You're within the close range band.
Within close. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll shimmy up to one of them and use my favorite sword, smash.
All right. Roll me that smash.
I think I clicked. Let me click it again. That didn't seem to go. Okay. That's a 5.
All right.
Sorry, they're keen, aren't they?
They are keen, so you would.
That's a 1.
Okay. Yeah, because it was the last dice rolled was the 5. We would remove that. That is 2 1s. Okay, that is actually a failure. You used smash, so the attribute consequence is you take 1 harm. Actually,
it's that I lose 1 HP.
You lose 1
Slightly
HP.
different.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct, because it doesn't go through your defense. It immediately applies to HP. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually,
well,
somebody
then I would
else.
have used.
You
Then I would
yeah.
have used.
You can use one of the HP drops. Yeah.
Cool beans. Then yeah, we're good. We're Gucci.
Good looking.
Ow.
All right. Yeah. So what does it look like when you slam this sword down in the general direction of a little green man and manage to hurt yourself?
I think I miss and like hit one of the support structures of the barn and just like reverberate through.
Love it. Love it. That allows me to say that the conditional consequence is that one of these hay bales comes down and just clobbers you. It's hay bales are heavy, but you are soldiers. It doesn't do any harm, but you are now trapped under this hay bale, and it's going to require an action for you to lift this thing up because it's heavy. I mean, you're Freighter Joe. You're going to be able to do it, but you have to take the action.
Yeah, that's my second action, is lifting this off of me.
All right. Now that would be yet another roll because it's interacting with the environment. I assume
Okay.
you're using your physical strength and just
I'm
smashing this off of you.
this.
All
And
right.
I lose another HP.
All right.
I pull a muscle in my tail.
In your tail, love it.
As
Yep.
I'm counterbalancing.
Yeah,
It's heavier than it looks.
Freighter Joe is older for a rat, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you
He's-
get that
he's
little
12.
like lower back spasm as you lift up this hay bale and push it to the side. But you do manage to do so. But because you always get 2 consequences, the attribute and the conditional, there is yet
Yep.
another conditional consequence that you have to worry about. And and I'm going to say that conditional consequence. You know what? I'm just going to activate another one of these enemies. It took you too much time and attention to get up that they're going to take that time to shooting you doesn't seem to be working very well. So I think they're going to bicker back and forth for a second, and then one of them is just going to backhand the other and point at you and yell something, and you are going to get the painted tag as part of Give Orders, the Give Orders move.
Love it. Painted.
All right. Hank, would you like to go next and keep that order?
Would. Yeah. This gray brain is being real loud in my head, and I want that to stop. So
You only
I'm
have
gonna
one
hit
action.
it. Yep, I'm gonna hit it really hard with my sword.
All right. Make that smash roll.
Okay. Does it have anything that I need to be aware of?
I don't
Like any
believe
tags?
Gray Brains are keen. They do have the draining tag.
Okay.
Their attacks would remove one biotech, but you weren't attacked. It was a move that did that.
Gotcha. All right. So yeah, then we're just gonna Hank smash.
All right. Roll that smash. Hank is having a grand old time smashing through things.
Heck yeah.
You do how much? 4 damage? No, you
Did
do
it
a lot of
roll
damage.
4? Yeah. Right. Hold on.
Because you have brutal, which doubles.
It's
right?
when I roll a 6,
It's when you
but
roll
I
six.
only see. Yeah. Did it roll? It only rolled 3. Should I roll another?
Oh right, it did not roll the precise. Your sword also has the precise tag, which
Right.
gives you another die. Yeah, just go ahead and
Right.
slash RD6.
Yeah.
See what that comes up with. A 3.
3. Okay.
The
Yeah.
highest dice is still a 5.
Still 5. Yeah.
So that does 4 damage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's 4. I didn't activate my ability, so it is still a bleed 1, and it ignores soak.
Okay. Well, it would have a Gray Brain would have 1 soak because we corrected that we are at threat level 1. We start at threat level 1, which makes a lot more sense. It would have 1 soak. You ignore that 1 soak. 4 damage goes straight to the Gray Brain's HP of 2. You cleave this one asunder as well.
Great.
But that is your only action this turn.
It's my turn. Yeah.
All right. Esme?
All right. Who can I see right now?
There are 2 little green men shouting and waving laser pistols in Hayden's direction.
That seems as good as any. I am going to take use split again to try to just use another attack, another action this turn. And then I am going to take aim and just say, "All right, Hayden, don't move," and try and shoot the greenies off of them.
All right.
So that would be okay. Still 5.
All right.
I know they have keen.
Yes, they do have keen. So, did you decrement your cyber? Or we could just take that 3 off of the roll
Yeah,
there. That would still
I'm
be
just
fine.
doing
Yeah.
the last one.
That'll work.
Ignore it.
Yeah, that'll work. Instead of messing around with the character sheet, sure. So you use split, right? So you have an action to shoot one, an action to shoot the other, if you need to.
Yep. Well, I'm actually does that first one because it has so. Does that actually hit that?
These
get through that
are
one?
little green men. They don't have any defenses whatsoever. It was the gray brains that have some soak. The little green
alright.
men actually have 3 HP. So you do 2 harm, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the other 2 little green men that you took out earlier, they must have been bickering ahead of time over who got to wear the gray cap and managed to do 1 harm to each other in the process. These
I
2,
am
however,
shooting the new one with the gray cap, by the way.
all right, awesome. But it has 3 health. You do 2 harm to it. It doesn't completely take out this little green.
Alright. Then I'll shoot him again.
All right. That is a 4.
4.
It is a success. So you take out that little green man. The gray paperboy hat goes flying off into a hay bale as it topples to the ground. You do lose 1 biotech for the cyber consequence, and we're going to say that the
And
other
gain 1 biotech.
and gain 1 because yep, very good. And the conditional consequence of that is I'm just going to have the other one shoot at you in response. I'm going to activate the other little green man and take an immediate shot at you. So it is going to fire towards you with 1 harm worth of damage. I believe you have 1 soak, so it
1,
just
yes.
completely dissipates off of that armor. And the little green man looks at you and then looks down at the ground dejected. And I believe because you used split and powers don't take an action, you have not moved, you still have another action to take.
Mm-hmm. I think I will just... Esme's just like, oh, you're next. And shoots that one. That is
Alright.
a 2.
Yes. Because we were taking that 5 off because of the keen. That is a 2, which is a failure. You lose another biotech. The shot, there's a spark to your tech pistol this time, and it doesn't fire at all. It sort of, what's the term? It backfires. I forgot backfire. It backfires, and the conditional consequence, I'm just going to say it does backfire. There is a spray of gunpowder back out of the breech of this weapon, which I think is the correct term. I don't know guns, and is going to burn a few of your rats up your sleeve, and you are going to lose 1 health.
Oof.
She's going to yell at the green creature, oh, look what you've done now.
And finally, Hayden.
Don't worry, Esme, I've got it. And they are going to take a shot at the little green man, and we'll see how this goes.
All right. What approach are you taking to shoot? Because I think this is your first time shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm leaning towards Cyber or Sly because I think that they are doing this very methodically. Like, they're focused. They're not focused. They're not just trying to destroy things the way Freighter Joe and Hank do.
Okay.
They are wanting to line things up and take their time. So I was leaning towards Cyber.
Okay.
Like doing mental calculations of, what trajectory do I need to
scope.
take?
Yeah.
Sure.
Got a little scope over the eye.
Yeah. Time slows down a little bit, and we get the calculations above the head. We see you're calculating the breeze and the distance and all of these other things, and you shakily hold your handgun up because this is the first time you've ever shot anything. It does have keen, so we're gonna take the 5 off the back end of that. So that is a 4. That is a partial success. With Cyber, you lose 1 biotech. because of the attribute consequence. It does go through, which means it is going to do 4 harm from your handgun.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look at that, because it normally does 2 harm. You have
I have brutal tagged.
Brutal only does double harm on a roll of a 6, so it does 2 damage to the
2 damage
to the little green. And the consequence of that, the conditional consequence. I am just going to say, because we're gonna fast track the rest of this because I want to get to break, and this is just the intro mission. I think we've introduced the game well enough at this point. I'm going to say that the little green man is going to use its conditional response to duck into cover, so it is going to run back into the barn, being yelled at by Esme and wounded by your handgun. It is going to run into the building, and you begin hearing this. And there's a burst of air that goes shooting out the back of the barn. Hay flies everywhere. And because you were the last player to act, we would then go to the player phase. There's no conditions we need to worry about. We will jump straight into their reactions. I believe there is only that little green and both of the little greens on Freighter Joe. So I think at this point, yeah, I think at this point, those 2 little greens by Freighter Joe they're both going to run back and grab somebody. The 2 of them are going to both grab an individual from inside the stable, that pen, and they're gonna drag this sort of portly older woman out of the pen and start dragging her over to where you can see there's this sort of like hover vehicle that is quickly being pulled out towards the back of the barn, and they're gonna throw that lady into this hover vehicle, climb in themselves, and the other little green is piloting this thing, and it is going to off into the field towards the back. So you are losing one of the hostages, but the only remaining enemies are fleeing. I will say with that, they're in an alien vessel. They scurry off, they shoot off into the distance too fast for you guys to be able to get off any meaningful attack that would be able to damage this vehicle within close enough range to be able to accurately hit it. And that is where we are going to end our starting primary mission. You saved all but one of the hostages. One of the hostages was captured, but, you know, acceptable casualties, right? You can't save everybody. Mission successful, mostly. With that, the primary mission is over, and we are going to head back to base. So a little bit of time jumps forward. Hank, you eventually get this old man and his elderly wife up and taken out of the barn. You manage to call the other young woman back from running off with the horse. Actually, no, she just takes off. She's gone. She moved in the opposite direction of that little hovercraft, and she is gone. She is up in the hills somewhere. You don't know what happened to her, but she's probably safe. And then Freighter Joe, you can go over and help bring out the other few hostages that were left in that pen. And we see our tactical blimp slowly float down out of the clouds and drop a rope ladder for all of you to climb up with your rescued civilians back into the tactical blimp. And with that, we will fly away back to base. And I think we're going to go to break now, and we're going to pick up after break with the performance review and some downtime, and we'll see if we get to this second mission. We'll see how this goes. I might have to play around with the pacing, but this is why I scheduled two extra weeks for this season if we need them. Q, what you got for me before we head to break?
Okay, just real quick. Without attacking the hovercraft,
Sure. What do you got for me?
could Joe and I use our powers to get to it and then take the civilian?
I will say, because I like this, you're a cyborg. I will say it will require a roll. I will let one of you. I will let one of you roll and the other one assist. So that is going to give you an extra die.
Okay.
This was your idea. Freighter Joe's gonna help.
All right. Dope skis.
I like it. Yeah. So, in what way are you trying to rescue this civilian?
So just I think Hank grabs Joe like we lost one. We got to go back and get it. Just gonna run, and then as we're getting closer and seeing that they're sort of starting to take away, I'm gonna be like, Joe, throw me. We're in the fastball space.
All right.
So we're gonna, effectively tackle. I'm going to tackle her, but I'm going to use my body to fall so that when we get off of the hovercraft, she doesn't take any damage.
Okay. This is a dangerous maneuver for you and the hostage. So if there's a complication, things could go wrong. But go ahead and roll me what I assume is going to be a smash.
Absolutely a smash.
Sure.
Fastball special, yeah. All right. So I got an extra die.
Yes.
Dope. Let's see it.
All right. That's a perfect success.
Hey.
That's a 6.
Yeah.
With the complication, I would have been able to do 2 harm to somebody, and it probably would have been the civilian because I'm a jerk. But you executed this. You executed this flawlessly. You are thrown forward. You sort of just full bear hug this woman in the back of this hovercraft and sort of roll yourself off the back of the craft. You slam into the ground yourself, but you're a trained soldier. You know how to tuck and roll. It hurts, but not enough to do any appreciable harm. And
to pain anyway.
Yes, you very much are. You managed to rescue this last civilian as the 3 little green men are making obscene alien gestures and shouting back in your direction as they continue to fly off. You managed to save all of them. Very good.
Okay.
That could have gone bad. I was gonna have that kill the civilian if there was a consequence.
Don't do that to me.
Everything has to be. All right. With that, all the civilians have been rescued. We are making our way back to base, and we will see what our Cyberrats get up to in their downtime and the fruits of their first successful mission when we get back. So we're going to go on break. We're going to aim for about 8 minutes or so. I got more of this music playing in the intermission screen, so while we are away, go check out what each of these amazing people are up to. Maybe go see what Zach from Scheduled for Launch is up to. But be sure to check back within 8 minutes so you can come back and see the conclusion of this episode. We got to get through the performance review. They're each going to get promotions into full careers. They're going to be able to spend some script, and we're going to at least start our second mission. Hopefully, we'll see how much roleplay these awesome creative folks come up with. We'll be back in a few minutes. Get up, go stretch, take care of whatever you need to, and check back in a little bit. Hello and welcome back to our first episode of Cyberrats Corpo-Rat Shills. If you are just tuning in or tuned in during the after our first half started, we are playing some Cyberrats. This is our first episode of our introductory. This is the introductory episode of our demo play. Yes, that beautiful, beautiful little book that Alex created. He is holding up right now. The artwork is fantastic, but the artist goes by Booj on Twitter, right?
Boog, yeah.
Boog.
And I think I saw him in the chat here too.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, if you're here, Boog, great art. I love it. I love it. And I believe I won a little giveaway for a character that you drew for me that is just absolutely fantastic. If I can, I don't think I can bring that down into anywhere that anyone can see, but love the art, love the art. Anyway, we are pressing for time because the introductory, the first episode always goes long because there's extra things to explain and get out. So we're going to jump right into it. Stick around for our outros when we go over exactly who all of these wonderful people are and what they do and where you can find them. But for now, we are going to jump back into this episode. We just wrapped up our first mission, Operation Whisker Twitch, which was a mostly resounding success. There were 2 civilians that were unaccounted for. One of them was rescued by a combination of Freighter Joe and Hank, rescuing that woman from the speeding away hovercraft that a few of the aliens retreated on. The other one, there was a young woman who took off on a horse. She's not accounted for as part of the civilians that were successfully rescued and gathered and taken to the extraction, but she's probably fine. So that they're not going to hold that against you too much. But everybody gathers back into our tactical blimp. I really want to get like an animated, like spinning Batman, like tactical blimp screen. If somebody can do that for me, we'll talk. Hook me up. And you guys make it back to base. We see the tactical blimp move back up into the clouds, laden down a bit more with not only our team, but with half a dozen other individuals. And we see our tactical blimp, the blue camouflage, flying against the afternoon sunset back to... Well, it looks like they're flying straight towards an interloper spaceship in high altitude. But as the camera pans around, we see... spray painted in big letters on the side of this interloper spaceship, property of Gargoyle, Dorsey, and Golden Calf. And the tactical blimp moves in and lands in a hangar bay. There's a flash of green energy as it passes through some sort of force field and docks within the skyship. Colloquially named the ship, or whatever really anybody wants to call it at the time. And we will proceed with our performance review. After every mission, the teams are brought back into the commander's office, and there is a performance review. And this is the first time we have seen the commander, or the ship, or anybody else who has been a part of it. So we see our 4 Cyberrats that we've already seen during this mission walk into the commander's office. And we are, of course, moving through an alien interloper ship, so the walls are strange and curved, and there are bulbous sections to it. There are panels that light up bright green and bright blue with alien language scrolled across them. There are many doors that are locked. There's red lights highlighting the door, probably denoting that they are either unsafe or locked. A lot of this ship looks like it's inaccessible or damaged, and there is this low hum throughout the ship that every now and then just clang, 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 clang. But it stays in the air, and people are generally getting used to the noise and strange alien lights. We follow these 4 into the commander's office, and we see a human woman with her back turned to the camera, to the group, looking out a large view screen, large window in her office. This woman is probably in her late 50s or so. Has her white hair up in a power bun. She's rocking the skirt suit of gray and white pinstripes. This is Commander Imalaya, Director Imalaya of the DGD Alliance. That is Gargoyle, Dorsey, and Golden Calf, the three megacorps that have teamed up to help fight the interlopers, and just as importantly, take down Valdivian, that other vile corporation that already seems to have the military under some sort of weird trance because their products really just aren't that good. But we see these four of our Cyberrats move into the office, and we see off to another screen, it says secondary mission, and just below there's a little twitch in the in the screen there because we need to decide what the secondary mission actually was and then resolve it. So while one team of Cyberrats is on a primary mission, another team of Cyberrats, because each player has 2 player characters, they send one on a primary mission and one on the secondary mission. So let's see what that secondary mission is. We'll resolve it, and then we will get to our performance review, deal with all of that, and do some downtime. So you get to decide which of these 2 remaining missions you mark as your secondary mission and which one you just have to fail at, because there's 3 missions presented and only 2 teams that you can send. And actually, because we are back in base, let me switch up this music real quick because we're not out in the field anymore. We are back on our base. I'm gonna turn off our mission music and put on our rest music. Thank you once again, Zach. Both of these tracks are absolutely beautiful and I love them. Okay, so we have, for this secondary mission, a choice between Operation Bouncing Barada, which is a mission against the interlopers. It is a rescue and survival mission located at a GDG research base. A yet undisclosed research facility owned by these 3 megacorps, currently in interloper-occupied territory, has been discovered. The researchers there need to be secured, brought to the evac zone, and protected until evac arrives. That is Operation Bouncing Barada. Your other option is Operation Smelly Box. That is a mission targeting... Yeah, that's what I called it. It is a mission targeting Valdivian, specifically one of their warehouses, and it is a sabotage mission. We've identified a Valdivian warehouse suspected to be storing a new batch of battle drugs. You are to infiltrate and replace that crate with one of ours. Surprise! Ours is not battle drugs. So, let me present it to the 4 of you. Would you like to send your other operatives on either Operation Bouncing Barada or Operation Smelly Box?
Smelly Box, obviously.
Smelly Box.
All right.
Smelly Box.
Yeah.
That seems that's unanimous there. They are going on Operation Smelly Box. Love it. Love it. All of my operation names are going to be some sort of cheese pun. So, secondary mission. We are going to need to resolve the secondary mission. The secondary mission happens simultaneously to the primary mission, but instead of having to play out multiple missions over the same span of time, the secondary mission is resolved simply with a single die roll, using a dice pool consisting of a number of dice equal to various things. And let's take a look at what that actually is. So, for the secondary mission, we start with a dice pool of 1. For every 2 operatives that has a career, add 1 dice. Nobody has a career, everybody starts at intern. Subtract 1 dice for every injured operative. Nobody is injured, we don't have to worry about that. For each operative with a weapon or gear with 3 or more tags, add 1 die. I don't believe anyone has 3 or more tags on a weapon.
No.
I was close
think
at
so.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
For each operative with a power from rows 3, 4, 5, or 6, add a die. Obviously, we don't have that. Nobody has any career powers. If there are only interns on the mission, subtract 1 die. We had 1 die. We're subtracting 1 die. Finally, if any target factions have a threat of 3 or higher, subtract 1 die. So we have a dice pool of
0.
nothing. We have a dice pool of nothing. But
No.
just like regular checks, if you have a dice pool of 0, you roll 2d6 and you have to take the lower result. So who would like to roll for our secondary mission? Who's gonna eat this? Who are we gonna blame when this inevitably goes bad? Q, thank you.
Thank you, Q.
Roll that 2d6.
Okay.
I believe if you want to use... Actually, Alex, you were just saying that we have a tracker here in Roll20, and you said
Yes.
it has a button for that. I'm going to give everybody access to that, so I can't be blamed for when it goes bad. Yeah. So, Q, you should now be able to see up at the top of our directory here, our journal, the campaign tracker.
Yep.
So, secondary mission, not dangerous, no multiple targets, highest target threat level is 1. Operation Smelly Box, doesn't matter if it's a military target? I don't think that affects the dice pool.
It can. It
It can.
can affect the outcome.
It affects the outcome, but not the dice
Yeah,
pool.
not the dice pool.
Operation Smelly Box is against Valdivian, so we don't need to worry about that. Have a career 0, injured 0, gear 3+, 0, powers 0, bonus die. Would I make that -1? I think so.
No, it's
No?
just 0.
It's
It'll
just 0.
it'll do it. In theory, fingers crossed.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Hugh, hit that roll for secondary mission button. Let's see what happens. Did it roll 2 dice? It did. It rolled 2 dice. That is a 4 and a 6, just like the success spectrum of checks. The lowest result is a 4, but that is still a success with complication. So what does that mean for the secondary mission itself? It was a success. The mission does complete successfully, but on a result of 3 or 4, that adds a complication. For secondary mission complications, either one character assigned to the mission dies, or 2 characters assigned to the mission become injured. And we have on this secondary mission specifically, we have Nibbles, Ash McDykel, Ian, and Pack-Rat.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we want to do this, guys?
Nibbles can get injured.
All right, that's 1 injured.
Pack-Rat can be injured. It's fine.
All right, Nibbles and Pack-Rat are injured. Now, is there something to click? Yeah, there's something to click at the top of the sheet for that. I see, Pack-Rat, you already did that, and I assume, Alex, you're on it too. All right. So that is secondary missions, quick and simple. You make a dice pool, you roll, and the complications are pretty simple. Either somebody dies or 2 people are injured. Now, injured operatives, injured Cyberrats, cannot go on primary missions. They can only go on secondary missions. So if another, if you send multiple injured operatives out on a secondary mission and you get more complications, either one person has to die or 2 people need to be injured. But if there's not enough uninjured operatives for 2 of them to be injured, somebody has to die. So it's helpful to be able to heal up those injuries. One way to do that is to completely succeed a secondary mission, rolling a 5 or a 6 on the secondary mission roll. The other way to do it is with the clinic, which fortunately we bought ahead of time. Now, normally when you start the game, you start with 2 open rooms available, but you don't actually get to purchase rooms to apply in there before the game even starts because they cost construction points. Because this specific demo play is running on a very truncated version of the full gameplay loop, I wanted to give them a little bit of handicaps to make sure they can actually survive the very quick ramp that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to be rewarding extra script for every mission, and I gave them a free room that they can, chuck into their base, and they very wisely chose the clinic, which allows them to heal an injured operative during downtime if they spend the script to be able to do so. And every time they heal somebody, the cost to heal the next person goes higher and higher. So you have to weigh that decision of whether your young operatives are worth it, or whether you want to save the lower cost clinic for later. All right, so that is the secondary mission all resolved. With that, you see the other 4 Cyberrats. 2 of them walk proudly into this mission as Nibbles and Pack-Rat kind of limp and roll their shoulders and sort of wipe dust and burn marks and soot off of their armor. And the 8 of our Cyberrats sit down within this, within Director Imalaya's office. And she will turn around and address the group. Welcome, my new interns, to the ship. You will have plenty of time to go about and explore its many nooks and crannies. I'm sure you are very excited to poke and scurry around, but we still have some business to attend to. I understand this was the first mission for each of you. Your lottery lots had been called, and I am quite pleasantly surprised that you all returned successfully from your first mission, and I can award each of you with a promotion to a proper career here with Gargoyle, Dorsey, and Golden Calf. You will be able to speak to one of your Megacorp liaisons for proper promotion and the training involved. But let's first talk about these missions and why they are so important. I'm sure you are aware of the interloper threat that has been looming over our fair planet for a few months now. They have gained quite a bit of ground in our major cities and are relentless in setting up bases and outposts and observatories in our rural settings, as I believe one of our teams has dealt with on Operation Whisker Twitch. Very well done.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I do see that there is one unaccounted for civilian.
Yeah.
A horse got her.
A horse got her.
She ran off. Go ahead. Ed.
She got the horse, actually. She stole, I think, a horse and ran away with it, but was rescued in that sense.
I mean, we don't know she stole it. It could have been her horse. She was doing a really good job.
Well, I suppose that
It was a mean horse.
I suppose that is a GDG body bag that has not gone unused. So if she chose to run off on her own, we certainly cannot be held accountable for so. So congratulations. I will mark that as high scores, a complete success for this mission. Very good. Operation Smelly Box also went off with little difficulties. I see the crate was successfully replaced. We've taken some injuries, though, Pack-Rat, Nibbles.
We have.
Will you be well enough to continue your service?
I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Well, I suppose I can direct you to Let me actually pull that up. I have a list of all of our fantastic NPCs. Because she would recommend that you go visit our good doctor, which is... I know our nurse's name right off the bat. Our doctor. I would suggest you go and visit after this meeting, of course, our base physician, Dr. Algernon Flowers.
Of course.
That
Thank you.
is, of course, if you have the means to afford the medication and treatment.
Sorry, what? I get so distracted keeping track of all my rats.
You will, of
That
course,
is how
be
you got injured.
charged for your medical treatment.
Oh. Why?
Well, because we are using company property.
Mark,
Thought I was company property.
I believe we are also considered company property.
You are, but unfortunately at this moment, your asset value is lower than the cost of the medication.
Right, okay. Sure.
Insulting. Very well.
Wait, just a second. What was that about you can't keep track of your rats?
Have you seen the rest of them?
He keeps losing them.
Ow, they are a part of you.
You don't know how it is. Maybe
They
you
like
do.
to-
I
They like to-
am also a swarm of rats. I do know how it is.
You know, sometimes you lose 5 or 10 or 30.
No, that doesn't happen.
Do you
No.
not have them? Do you not just know all of them?
Oh, I know the 12 or so that are closest to me at any given time. Oh, there goes one now.
Perhaps
All
an
right, we'll
extended
unpack
visit with
that.
Dr. Algernon Flowers would be in order. I believe Nurse... yes, I believe Nurse Winona Whiskers has a degree in psychology, and perhaps she can be of assistance. In the meantime, I do see that both of these missions went well, and as such, because you performed your job admirably in service to Gargoyle, Dorsey, and Golden Calf, there are, of course, pay to be distributed. So, during the performance review stage, it is time to hand out script, and of course, script is the yep, all of my NPCs are going to be rat puns. Whether you get them or whether they're puns on my own rats that I've had throughout my life.
What was the nurse's rat's name?
The nurse's name is Winona Whiskers.
Oh, good. We need another
Winona
nurse.
Winona was the second rat I've had as a pet. Little gray rat. She was adorable. She was adorable. Named after John Crichton's pulse pistol on Farscape.
Nice.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes, Nurse Winona Whiskers. But during the performance review, it is time to hand out the ever-important script. This is how the players will buy anything they want. Clinic visits, unlocking new powers, increasing their HP or biotech, buying gear parts to modify that gear, pooling resources together for construction points to buy more rooms and unlock more parts of their skyship. Everything revolves around this one resource, which is script. So let's see how much they get for each of these missions. So for our primary mission, I believe this is something we can do on the campaign tracker, Alex?
Keeping track of script.
No, never mind. I don't need a campaign tracker for that. It's easy. I just roll 1d6 plus 1 for the primary mission. Making sure that is correct. I believe that is correct. I am increasing that because we're working with a much shorter schedule than the normal length of the game. I'm going to give 2 script at the end of each primary mission, an extra 1 script at the end of each secondary mission, so you guys can level up and buy new toys and whatnot at an increased pace, since we're going through the story missions quicker. So I roll a 4, so that is going to give each of you 7 script to play with. It's a good roll. For your primary mission, so that is whoever went on our primary mission. Hank, Hayden, Esme, and Freighter Joe each get 7 script, plus 1 script for anyone who killed an enemy, which I believe was everyone but Hayden.
A sweet summer child.
Yep. So
That tracks.
Director Himalaya goes over to that screen and pulls up each of your personnel files, and there's a kill tracker, and she goes, Freighter Joe, oh, very good. Hank, very good. Hayden, I see there was a little bit of a hiccup. You've been combat trained?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
perhaps you will perform better on your next mission. And Esme. Very good. And the 3 of you will get 1 extra script. As far as the secondary mission, I believe everybody gets 1 script. Is it 1 or is it 2? I have to remember. All characters on a successful secondary mission get 2 script. And then I said I am awarding an extra 1 script, sort of handicap, so you each, your 3 other characters get 3 script. So that is Nibbles, Pack-Rat, Ash, and Ian have 3 script to play with. So it can be beneficial to sort of alternate who goes on primary missions and who goes on secondary missions, so you can kind of keep them more or less in line, or you can choose to just have 1 really good operative and hope they really get ahead of the game and excel, and then have 1 underpowered operative and see if they just become an ablative lackey later on. That is script. Now we need to look at the victory meter and the threat level. So, every failed mission will result in the faction's threat level and victory meter rising. Both of these missions were a success. They each only targeted a single enemy faction. So, and I don't believe either of them were military. One was interlopers and one was Valdivian. So, let's see. On a success, if a mission involves only 1 faction on a success, that target's victory meter decreases by 2. And the threat level does not move. The threat level only increases on a failure. So we can go back to the handy campaign tracker that was created on Roll20. Once again, Alex, super helpful to have character sheets on Roll20 that are free to use. You don't even need a Plus subscription or anything. When you make a new campaign, you can go, when you choose your game, Cyberrats is actually there, and you have player sheets, base sheets, and the campaign tracker. So, Valdivian, interloper victory meter starts at 1. It goes down to it starts at 0. It can't go down anymore. So the success there doesn't really give you anything, but it doesn't. Obviously, threat level and victory meter are not raised. You can also keep track of how many missions targeting each faction you go on, because normally you can only unlock a faction's story mission after you complete. It looks like 4 missions here.
It's 3. It's
3.
It's unlocked and then beat.
Gotcha. Oh, I see how it's set up in the campaign tracker. That's what I thought. Yeah, it's 3 missions. You have to do 3 missions for the interlopers, then you unlock we'll start with military because it's the first story mission. You do 3 military regular random missions. Then you unlock the military story mission, and then you would complete the military story mission and be able to work towards completing the Valdivian and then Interloper story mission. We are truncating that. We are going to do each mission every other week, whether we get to, that number of regular missions beforehand or not, just so we can see the entire gameplay loop of Cyberrats during this season. So that is Operation Whisker Twitch with the Interlopers. Threat level stays the same, victory meter can't go down any further, and the number of missions was recorded. Now for Operation Smelly Box. Now on Operation Smelly Box, that was also a success, so that is going to decrease the victory meter from 4 back down to 2, it looks like. Awesome. Yeah, that target's victory meter decreases by 2. All right.
Did fail a mission as well.
Yes, you have to fail a mission because there are 3 missions presented at every gameplay loop. You get 1 for the secondary mission, 1 for the primary mission, and 1 that you automatically fail. The failed one
was an interloper.
Operation Bouncing Barada, an interloper mission. And we did Smelly Box, and we did Whisker Twitch. There we go. I will be adding these mission details and the rough maps I have created for them to our Ko-Fi, to our hero tier Ko-Fi for supporters for GM side information. But victory meter and threat level for the failed interloper mission. On a failure that targets a single faction, that faction's threat level increases by 1, and its victory meter increases by 3.
Ooh.
It's a big hit. So that was a failed, what did we say, interloper mission? So victory meter increases by 3. 1, 2, 3. Our victory meter for interlopers is now at 3. Threat level increases by 1. So we are at 2 threat level for interlopers. That puts them dangerous. The complication, the danger behind threat level, as we've seen in the first mission, is that enemy statistics are often based on threat level. Their HP, how much various defenses they have, how much damage they do at various ranges can be increased for every tick of threat level. So enemies are going to naturally get harder as you allow them to progress further and further towards their goal. All right. Let's see, because they happen simultaneously, it would go up by 3, but you also succeeded on a mission with interlopers, which would reduce it by 2. So I think we'll call that net, and just net +1.
You can. Technically, it resolves in the order that you did.
Okay.
First mission, secondary mission.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
So you guys are screwed.
Yeah.
All right. No,
All
I like
right.
it. I like it. That is a
We'll
good
just win the
clarification.
next one. It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all
that's
you need to
fine.
do. Just keep winning. All right. That takes care of script. That takes care of threat level and victory meter. Now, that concludes our debriefing. I see that both of these missions went off well. Unfortunately, we were not able to rescue those scientists. Scientists, right? Is that what the other mission was? They're expendable. They managed to upload all of their research before the base was overrun, so we're not losing any company assets.
How nice for you.
Yes. Well, that is all that I have for the 2 teams of you as a group. I will leave each of you to contact your own corporate liaisons for the paperwork and authorization for your promotions. And you have the rest of the evening until we need to speak again about your next missions. Dismissed.
Yeah, just leaving.
Where did you say that clinic was?
Come with us.
Third
We'll
tier,
show you.
I believe.
Okay.
Port side. You'll find it.
No, they won't.
So, yeah, playing around with time and pacing here because there's a lot to introduce, both mechanics-wise and story-wise. So we're probably only going to get to this first intro mission today. So, I asked each of my players, to pick their careers ahead of time, so you know what you're leveling up as. So let's just go around and see what each of your characters are doing. So, Freighter Joe, what career is Freighter Joe going down?
Freighter Joe is 100% going down the trenchy line.
All right.
And is going to focus on the knifer specialization. Not that he has to use one, but...
All right. So that is going to unlock it's going to unlock the level 0, the row 0 ability for that career. What is that?
It is Amateur Slice, which means that all of my bleed tags are more effective.
Nice.
And then it also gives me more hit points, which I love.
Yes. So each career is going to override your hit points and biotech into what they are supposed to be for a full career path soldier, and you unlock another ability. Your second character, Nibbles.
Nibbles is going to go Vector, which is the hacker. I was thinking about the psychic, but I'm going Vector.
All right.
And I get the level 0 power there. And I think that I am going to take air support from the droner specialization, which makes me more survivable.
All right. That brings us to Esme Vandervon. What is your promotion?
Esme is 100% going the psychic one, the mind job.
Mind job. Love it.
And I think that she is going to she is untouchable, so she is going to get predictable, which is she just gains an extra soak for her passive.
Love it. Femme Fatale Rat Swarm with psionic powers. I mean, this is why you play Cyberrats, guys.
Absolutely.
And Ash McDykel.
Ash is gonna be trenchy, and unlike Freighter Joe, she is specializing in the grenadier
Nice.
area, so she's gonna try and make as big booms as possible, and she's taking smoke bombs, so she creates cover
Nice.
whenever she uses a grenadier power.
Cover is helpful. We will cover in one of our future missions. Ian, what's Ian's promotion look like?
I've been like reflecting on this and still bouncing back and forth, but I think Ian is going down the vector path, but as Shocker.
All right.
So we are going to be an electricity wielding rat swarm thief.
Love it. And Hayden.
I think Hayden is actually going down the mind job track
Nice.
as Scanner.
All right.
I think that's what they're going for. I was gonna go with Gunner, but I
Mhm.
think their experiences shooting in this first mission kind of took that off the table.
Yeah.
So I think they're going down a slightly different path.
Like it. Like it.
And you can pick from different columns as you go.
Yes. All right. Hayden's brother, Henry Levi
Uh-oh.
Razor, or Hank. What are you doing?
I mean, it's trenchy.
Of course.
Obviously. We are also going the knifer. But
All right.
I actually think I want to make sure I can do this. I want to take the high ground. The high ground ability, which means all weapon attacks deal +1 harm.
All right. Now, is that something you're unlocking with script?
That's the 0 level.
That's the 0? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's the 0 level. Yeah, we're here to do damage.
Okay.
I got bleeding
Yeah,
other
you're-
stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, you're going down the gunner route as opposed to Freighter Joe who went down the knifer route.
Sure.
All right.
I'll be taking stuff from all over. It's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, very true. It is only the level 0 power that you are locked into when you take your specialization.
Gotcha.
Good pointed out. And finally, Pack-Rat.
Oh, right. That's still me.
Yeah. It can be
Fully
strange.
spaced on that.
It can be strange controlling multiple player characters.
It can be. Let's see. I want to go Vector.
All right.
The blind spot's real nice. Yeah, hacker.
All right, going down the hacker path for blind spot.
Yeah. We got to keep it.
Sorry, I'm gonna be really annoying. I'm changing Freighter Joe. We have a lot of trenchies. I'm gonna change to Ratter
Okay.
for Freighter Joe, just so we
Nice.
have some variety here. He'll
Yes.
take the brute Ratter.
All right, very good. Yeah, Ratter is an interesting class career because they can mix and match abilities based on the mutator type. So there's a path for abilities that are reminiscent of a rat swarm. There's one that are reminiscent of the big bulkiness of a brute, and of course there are powers that utilize some of the cyberware attachments that tend to come from cyborg rats that you can mix and match as you would like because of the Ratter skill tree.
Nice.
All
Okay.
right. Very nice.
Then should I?
I am going to let you guys handle spending your script throughout the week as to how you exactly want to level up. Just so the audience isn't sitting here watching all of us read through menus and hum and haw and whatnot. You will have time to do that before we go on our next mission because we're already approaching time. So I will let you guys do that over break, and we can get some quick downtime in. I will just ask, is anybody utilizing the clinic so I can mark its increased cost and we can take care of that injury?
I will use it. Pack-Rat, if you want it, you can have it first.
Sure.
It's cheaper to go first.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So with the clinic, each time an operative uses the clinic, the cost increases by 1. It initially costs 2 script during downtime to heal. So, Pack-Rat, you are using it?
Yeah.
All right. So mark 2 script off for Pack-Rat, which you can cover that from the secondary mission, and the cost of the clinic is now 3.
And Nibbles is going to use it for 3.
Okay. The cost of the clinic is now 4. It's going to get harder and harder, more and more difficult to keep your soldiers uninjured.
Okay.
All right. With that, let's let's jump into our downtime phase, and we'll probably end there. Now, just to demonstrate what it says in the book and create some sort of order and, more importantly, pacing for our show, I'm going to give each of you a single scene that you would like to do. So you can choose whether that is just a monologue with yourself, if you would like to interact with any of our NPCs, or if you would like to interact with one or more of the other player characters. As far as NPCs, there is Director Imalea. You can go back to her office and have a one-on-one talk with her if you want to be insulted and devalued some more. There is Big Neil, our chief engineer, who... Freighter Joe, you're probably familiar with Big Neil. He's another brute rat, very big guy, very similar to Freighter Joe in a lot of aspects. There is Dr. Tallulah Tales, head of the science division here on the ship. Tallulah was my third rat that I've had as a pet, and she is named after a character in Doctor Who when the Daleks took over Manhattan. She was the dancer girl.
Nice.
I name all of my rats after obscure sci-fi references.
Right, this is a deep cut, man.
Yep. This is why you watch RPGs Uncovered. I mean, it's really not. You're here to learn the game and enjoy a story, but, extras. I've already mentioned Dr. Algernon Flowers, the on-base physician, and Nurse Winona Whiskers, who specifically has a degree in psychology. You have briefly met and interacted with Mr. Neary Fruit Chews Grayson, the pilot of the tactical blimp. Drop those tactical blimps.
Absolutely. And
the ship has an onboard bar. They converted one of the rooms into a bar for the crew and you Cyberrats to go and enjoy. Which is tended to by barkeep Gerrat, who is a human man who identifies as a rat.
Oh no.
Everyone's free to live the life they want to live.
You know what? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
In this apocalyptic world.
Okay. Who has a cool scene for a downtime moment?
Nibbles has one with Ash.
All right. What does that
if
look like?
Ash is around.
Yeah, sure.
I picture this. So Ash made a comment earlier about how hard it is, or how easy it is to keep track of things.
That was Esme.
Esme.
Oh, that was Esme. Sorry, I thought
Yes.
Esme was a cyborg. Okay, sorry, then I want one with Esme.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry.
All right.
And I picture that this is just like us sitting, like looking out a viewport of the ship over the sky. And Nibbles says, "You said earlier that people keep track of things."
Yes, I did want to talk to you about that. I've been thinking about what you said.
Oh, I say a lot of things.
About the thing you just said, yes.
Oh, yeah, my rats, they're everywhere.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
yes, I found this morning. I was thinking about what you said, and I found this morning a rat that I could not identify when I woke up.
Oh, yeah, that happens to me all the time.
I think it might be your rat.
Oh, okay, thanks. I was just wondering, you know how we sort of took this ship from the interlopers?
I do.
Well, I was thinking, at first I was thinking that they were like me, they just forget about it after a minute or two. But what if they're more like you? You don't think they're going to come back for this ship, do you?
have been thinking about that possibility. I don't know how much all of the corporations have managed to hide us. I'm sure they're good at covering their assets.
You're right, it's probably nothing. Good talk.
Right. Listen, about the losing rats thing.
Oh, you can keep it, it's fine.
No, here, please take it back. I actually wanted to say I do not care where your rats go, but
Perfect. I'll keep letting them run amok.
okay,
Thanks for the talk.
I would like to set one ground rule for where I would like them to not be, which is inside my body.
Ah. Yeah. I can see how that'd be frustrating.
Yes, I'm glad we've come to some sort of arrangement.
And that's the scene that I wanted with Nibbles.
All
Thank
right.
you, Aaron.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful.
I would love to be at the bar.
All right.
Whether or not Hayden is there with Hank, it's gonna be Hank. Is up to them.
JD, you will have your own moment, JD. This is just working.
And that's why
with
I'm
Q, yeah.
considering it. Yeah, I think Hayden would be with Hank.
All right.
So, like, Hank went from the debriefing, from the the report meeting, and then went straight to the bar. Like, just straight to the bar. He's now 3 shots in, just chilling. Oh, that was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good time.
He takes his fingers and just goes "Doot," to Hayden's face. Hey, you're the smiley one. What's this? What's all this?
I don't know. It was harder than I thought it was gonna be.
I mean, well, you did try and make friends with a horse, so
Yeah, and I failed. The horse almost trampled me.
I tried to make friends with a horse once. Very disagreeable until I got a bottle of scotch in it.
hey, Smitty.
Garrett.
Yeah, no, Smitty. Listen, your whole vibe weirds me out. You're fucking the person identifying as a rat. Yeah. Yeah. That's weird,
Yes.
mate. That's weird.
Why is that weird?
Because you're not on this side of the experience, is basically what I'm saying.
I mean, Hank, we're both in like human suits.
Yeah, this was done to us, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Ah.
It was. Yeah. So listen, you make good drinks. Appreciate that. I'll have another. Thank you so much. You got debt? You paying off? Like us?
Of course. Working my way through as a company man.
There's just a squint
Drink.
looking like
Everyone you buy gets me closer out of debt.
one more. Anyway, you shot something, yeah? You
One
did?
of them, yeah, but I didn't kill it.
It's fine.
Well,
Wait, you shot a
it's
horse?
Fine. No, I wouldn't shoot a horse. I wouldn't do that.
Ah. Wait, what did you
I
shoot?
mean, I would have shot a horse. Yeah, one of the aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw one of them aliens.
We saw a couple of aliens.
Several, yeah.
The little green ones,
And the big gray ones.
big gray ones, not any of the blue flying ones.
No, not yet.
Ah.
Not yet. Excited for those though. Listen,
I didn't know there were any blue flying ones.
I'm sure that there are. Maybe there's one for every color of the rainbow.
You be on the lookout. You got to bring
I'm
back
sure
the intel
will.
because I'm stuck here, or else I'd be out there fighting the good fight with you.
Would you?
I'm sure
Yes.
you will.
I'm sure you could enlist. You could be an intern.
Well, I keep trying to get my lottery number called, but just not that lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Hayden and Hank just share a look.
Yep, it's just a look, and they go back and look at each other. You survived.
Yeah.
That's really all this. Too many drinks. That's really all that's important.
I mean, it's also important that you survived. I was really worried about you when you and Freighter Joe went off to save that hostage.
I was perfectly fine. And I was the one that got nearly trampled by a horse, was I?
No, you weren't.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was me.
Mm-hmm. Plus,
Yeah.
still got your med pack. Always. I'm gonna be fine.
Hank, you know I will use that on you if I have to.
I mean, it's yours. So, like, if you really want to, you can do with it what you will.
Yeah,
But
that's right. It
it's
has
for
my
you.
name on it.
Absolutely. But I'm just holding on to it, just in case.
I got something that would be perfect for that because I feel like we got off on the wrong side of the tail. So how about a little bottle of nice high grade vodka? That'd be great for cleansing wounds.
It's on the house.
Yeah, for mates,
Yeah.
right?
So what?
For mates,
For mates?
friends, chums,
Sure.
buddies. My rat
Sure,
friend.
You're right. That's your
Exactly.
name, right?
Yeah.
You're right. And Hank will take it. Sure, we're mates. Busy
Awesome.
mates. There's just another look to Hayden like,
Mhm.
Garrett walks off and starts like wiping down glasses.
Honestly, who greenlit that? Who said that was a good idea? Anyway, not the point. Hey, who's my big star?
I am.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. All right. Drinks, and then sleep, probably. I'm sure we've
I
got another
think
mission.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna grab a bottle.
Okay.
Just gonna
Just reach forward and clink, clink. All right.
Mhm. And then that's it. They're having a good time.
Yeah, we see Garrett look up and cut on the house.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, cheers.
We're mates, he says to nobody. JD, what you have a downtime scene? What's that?
I think that's going to actually be Ian and Ash
All right.
talking about, well, just kind of having a chance to touch base after their mission. And I think it probably takes place in one of the more like common areas, but at a time where that's not occupied by others. And Ian, who is an enlightened rat swarm, but is like in a very skin tight like thief suit, is just kind of pacing around. He's not very good at sitting still, and just kind of wants to like talk with Ash about how Ash thinks that mission went, given that they did come back with 2 injured teammates.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit that could have gone better.
It could have. I didn't expect that from our hackers. I mean, they're both usually so good at what they do. Frying themselves on the circuitry? I mean, what was that?
They're really competitive, and I think one of them thinks it's a joke. The other one really doesn't. I haven't figured out which is which yet.
I think it goes back and forth, honestly.
I've been, I think it's gonna be, this is a real interesting crew, and we do need, you were scouting them for like a hacker, right?
I was. We need
Un-
a hacker if we're going to commit the perfect crime.
I mean, they've both got their dysfunctions, but I'll keep an eye out if I end up on any missions with them. Seems like one of them's got to be a little more normal.
Honestly, I'm getting a little concerned about... I'm getting a little concerned about Nibbles. I mean, that's not normal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just the one rat, so I don't know how a lot of that all works physiologically, but it's not normal then to just lose rats like that.
Not at all. I know where every single one of my rats is at any time.
Okay, it seemed kind of weird. Esme was talking like it was kind of weird.
Esme was definitely right.
Okay.
Which I guess does make it easier. I mean, maybe we just choose Pack-Rat.
Maybe, but well, I mean, we're not out of here yet, so we don't have to make any decisions right now. Oh, check
That's
out
true.
check out some of the stuff I've been rigging up.
What have you been doing? I'd love to
and-
see your work.
She just like takes out this canister and boom, puts it on the table, and she's like, all right, so I made this thing. I'll be able to attach it to all my bombs when I make more of them, and it's gonna just she like presses a valve on it, and this entire like common area just fills with smoke.
Ash, you've done it again. You are incredible.
It's gonna be in battle. Imagine this being a lot more tactically sound and not like in the way, but yeah.
Brilliant. This is why there's never been a question that you will be my explosives expert.
Ah, shucks. I am. It's I'm glad to be on the team. It's something to look forward to.
Yeah, and we need that, don't we?
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a good place to cut that there. Some nice prospective thief bonding. Aaron, do you have a scene for us?
I think then I guess Ash is gonna visit Pack-Rat in the clinic during that time.
Okay.
So, how you holding up there?
We're doing much better. Treatment is almost complete. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. I don't even think I got hit too much. You know, anyone you can. Used to be an old pilot saying any landing you can walk away from's a good landing. So I think
That seems questionable. But
well,
I'll take your word for it.
I mean,
We'll take your
not
word.
a great landing for the plane, but better landing for the pilot.
Certainly. Though the potential ramifications of that in the context of the blimp is concerning. So,
Listen, I don't know whose idea the blimp was, but
we find it quite entertaining.
yeah, it's Esme kept talking about like old world style or stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't
Yes.
know from that, but
She does seem quite fascinated with older fashions, which is fine.
yeah, to wonder about the blimp, and I wonder if there's any way we can fit like some. Maybe next time after the next mission, I should talk to Big Neil, see if he can stick some weapons on the thing, because it is just sort of a big fat target, isn't it?
Yes, but it could be quite useful as a distraction. But not good
Right, but
for an extraction, I suppose.
we fly in and out in it, so I'm not sure how much we want to distract with the getaway blimp.
Fair. Well, our mission was a success.
And I'm glad you and Nibbles got to use the clinic. What do they? How do they treat? Do they have to treat the rats one at a time?
No. They target the ones most injured. There's a solution that they use.
All
Especially
right.
when it's us. They use a solution. We take a bath effectively.
Oh, that's. I mean, that's great. Honestly, like you get to heal and get a spa day all in one.
Well, we wouldn't call it a spa day. It can be
I know
quite
that was.
uncomfortable.
I'm sorry. That was a joke.
Some
Oh.
patients are more disagreeable than the others.
I did not notice you there, Doctor.
I'm a quiet sort of fella.
We believe we were quite agreeable during
Yes.
our time.
Very fortunate. Put me in a better mood to deal with Nibbles.
Yes. You'll have to forgive him. He is.
They keep leaving rats all
Falling
over my
apart.
clinic.
He's falling apart.
It's unsanitary, is what it is.
His rats are perfectly clean.
Hmm.
I'm not sure
You
you,
gotta-
you have the ability to complain about rat problems when all of your patients and also you are a rat.
I suppose you're right. But
Yes.
me, I'm just a simple big country rat. I don't go leaving bits and pieces all over the place.
Well, he can't help himself. We would appreciate if you spoke more kindly of our friend.
Oh, I didn't mean no harm by it. But I'll
Impact.
remember that in the future.
We appreciate it. Impact and intent are very different, often.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Doctor, for your assistance. We feel right as rain. I believe is the colloquialism.
I hate the rain. He walks off.
He has a terrible bedtime.
Yeah. I've picked up a little bit of Battlefield Medic stuff while I was at Gargoyle, and maybe I'll just try and make sure Nibbles keeps out of the infirmary for a little bit.
That might be best.
Yeah.
We're not sure if he'll recover or what it would require. But we're hoping for the best. We would hate to claim victory over this rivalry because they were incapable.
Well, that's important of you, I guess.
It's only fair.
All right. And I think that's where I'm
right.
gonna end it.
Attention all Cyberrats, please convene in the director's office for deployment briefings for your next mission. And I think that is where we are going to cut it for today, because we are at time. Yeah, we will pick up next week with our with another new mission and the debriefing for that. I think that actually fits in quite well. For a little sneak peek into next week, our operatives will have the choice between Operation Gorgonzola Blues, Operation Cheddar Fingers, or Operation Colomir's Cage. And I will give you guys more details on that later. But that is what we have for tonight. The first mission, the first episode always goes a little long because there's just a lot to explain when you're doing a demo play series, going over all the different roles, going over how combat works. And, I like to make combat as narratively interesting and cinematic as I can. But going forward, my plan is to get through 2 of these missions per episode. We'll see how that manages. I did block off an extra 2 weeks for this cast to stay together in case we need it, but I'm going to try to keep everything as contained as possible and get us through all of these story missions. But I think this was a great representation, great introduction of Cyberrats. We pretty much saw everything that core gameplay loop entails. We went on that primary mission. I thought it was a real fun introduction mission. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved the nice spread of complications and successes and all the cool things that happen and all the really cool decisions that you made. Rescuing the woman off of the hovercraft. I liked that use of your powers and willing to go for that. So that was really cool. And of course we handled the secondary mission. Resolved that pretty well. We did performance review, they got paid, and they will be able to use that pay throughout the week to upgrade their characters. And when we get back, we will hear the details for these 3 new missions and decide which is the primary, which is the secondary, and which one they're going to automatically fail. And then we're going to see how that goes. And every new mission we go on, things are going to get more and more difficult. Not just because threat level is increasing, but because I'm going to be introducing new enemies, new tougher enemies, each mission. So something to look forward to. All right.
Lovely.
We're going to try to keep this outro pretty quick, but I want to give everyone time to talk all about themselves and promote themselves, because you have all been fantastic, and I want to thank you for your time and your creativity. And then we're going to go on a very quick after show if we can squeeze it in, and that will be available on our Ko-Fi for either the adventurer tier or the hero tier. Adventurer tier gets player side insights and extras like character sheets. Some of them made Spotify playlists, which are just freaking jams, man. And information on the base and all of that. And then there is the hero tier, which will unlock things like my personal GM notes, the maps I write up, all these little index cards with the details of the mission, and other different little insights. So if you want to go support the show, that's the best way to do it. Anything that we get through that is going to go straight back into the community to help, pay for new games, work with artists and other musicians. Zach from Scheduled for Launch, another shout out for the music that he did here. He contributed that for free. He was just really excited for the project. I said, I need a beat that sounds like XCOM music and another one that sounds like Persona 5, and he was like, all right, let's do it. So thank you, Zach. We're going to be using these tunes throughout the whole season, and thank you all of you guys for showing up and playing through this and bringing some awesome characters and all the Session Zero stuff I get to work with. And I'm super excited to see how this whole arc goes. But with that, let me pass it back to JD for our outros. Where can we find you? What are you doing? Tell everybody all about what you got going on.
Yeah, I will try to keep this condensed, so you can find me with Live from the Apocalypse in our game Class Reunion, our game Academy H, which is also a Masks Actual Play podcast you can enjoy. I am currently in both Wildcard Wednesday games, Vampire Records, and our Yu-Gi-Oh! Inspired game, Band in Dual City, both of which will be coming to a close in the next few weeks. And almost every Monday, you can find me with Tales from the Table Studio for SCP, A Crumbling Foundation. But the best way to keep up with me is with social media, since I'm always posting new things as they come and promoting the different projects I am a part of. And I think that is the most concise I've ever been, so we're going to leave it there.
Awesome.
10 out of 10.
Aaron, your turn. What do you have going on for us? And thank you so much for bringing Esme and Ash to our little party here.
All right. So I am a game designer also. I have games available on Veil's Edge Games, veilsedgegames.itch.io.
I just dropped the link for that and JD stuff.
And they include Firmament, which is also a Lumen game. So if you liked how the combat ran in Cyberrats, it is a similar sort of gameplay. There's also The Dreaded and the Deep, which is a nautical terror game about dying at sea, and Orphans, which is a game inspired by Gothic Kidlit-like series of unfortunate events.
Nice. Yeah, go check those out. And of course we have Q keeping me on my feet and making sure all my NPCs aren't as big a jerks as they can be. Thank you so much. I love it. What do you have going on, Q?
I got you. So apart from this, you can find me every other Thursday. We've got one coming up at Tales from the Table Studios. I'm doing the Successor States of Rhaegar. The current arc is Shadow of the Dragon. I'm really excited to get back into that. It's been a lot of fun. Other than that, you can just find me on Twitter. We just hanging out. It's midnight_Inc. That's INQ. Yeah, and that's me. I got some more stuff in the future, but that's for later days. Not right now.
Apparently, the letter Q in chat is a tombstone.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Found that out. Yep. Wild.
I'm sure that's not foreshadowing anything at all. And finally, last but certainly not least, because we couldn't be here without him and his fantastic game, Alex, creator of Cyberrats and many other great games. Tell us all about that.
Yes, hello. I will also keep this brief. You can find me and all of my ongoing projects on Twitter. The only one that I'm going to plug right now is for 3 more days. You can audition, you, the person hearing this, can audition for the Cyberrats Radio Hour, a fully scripted 1-hour, 2-act play in the Cyberrats universe. Auditions are open until the end of the month. They are paid roles, so please apply for that. You can find all the information on my Twitter. And yeah, that's what I've got. You apply for that. I am going to be casting it very soon, and then we'll do a recording. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Yes, I took a look at that announcement and the sample lines for the characters. That all of those characters look fantastic. You're gonna get a great story out of that.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, that concludes all of our fantastic cast. That concludes the first episode of RPGs Uncovered Season 4, Cyberrats, Corpo-Rat, Shills. As for me, you can just head over to the schedule tab to see what I'm up to. I'll be hanging out on Tales from the Table Studio as well, with JD on Mondays for our Crumbling Foundation SCP game. The Star Trek Europa game that is usually on Tuesday is on mid-season break, so nothing to worry about there. And I have a number of projects in the works, many of which I can't talk about just yet, but we're going to be getting back to hopefully regularly scheduled WIP Wednesday creator interviews. Notably, the first one on February 8th at 7 p.m. EST. We're going to be talking with Tim Devine, I think it is Levine. I need to check my notes. I think it's Devine, of Color My Quest, which is a young kids focused color and cut RPG system that looks adorable and super fun for kids of all ages. So we're going to be doing that. I'm looking into some projects with solo games. I'm looking into a lot of stuff. Hang out with me on Discord. Hang out with me on Twitter. And if you like what we're doing, go support the show. Because that is how we keep doing what we are doing, and tell your friends about it, even if you can't contribute in a monetary fashion, which is super fair because money is tight for everybody. We live in a cyberpunk dystopian future. We just don't have all the cool toys yet.
Right.
If you can't support monetarily, just going out and retweeting things, liking things, subscribing over on YouTube, telling your friends about it, bringing more people into RPGs Uncovered, and chatting in the chat and enjoying our shows is a great way to just spread love and tell the AI overlords that we're cool people and to show us to other cool people. I think that is all I have tonight. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for yet another active chat. I love seeing it scroll by. I wish I could pay more attention to it when I'm back here frantically GMing for my life. We're going to go. We're going to see about recording an after show, and I will see you guys next week. But as always, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, keep having fun out there, and keep checking back here at RPGs Uncovered for more Cyberrats content, as well as other cool content coming up in the future. And when you come back from a difficult and costly mission, and you just need to relax and the bartender's being really weird, just order a nice plate of heart tomatoes, because it's a good way to unwind and they're delicious. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.